The college football experience, week 10, 2023 preview and draft episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost. Edge Boost enables you to double your bet with no interest. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge to get started today. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience as we continue our 2023 week by week preview. This is our week 10 episode, and folks, we are just a few days away from dropping episodes, a solo podcast for all 133 teams in all of college football. We've been doing this shit for years. So subscribe, tell a friend, and turn that down. Look, if you're wondering just who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I'm probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping. Would have killed a normal man, but no, that's gone. The medical advice I got from that was like being hit by lightning. Pretend it never happened and get on with your life.
Trying to get our two boys ready to carry them to the golf tournament before practice, right? 12 cats live across the road. Our door's open. Screen's broke. We need to get a new screen door, but the screen's broke. So you can come in through the screen, but you can't get back out of it. I turn and look, there's a little kitty cat in our kitchen. So I said, what are you doing in here, little kitty cat? By that time, the cat turns, tries to get back out. That screen won't go that way. Cat starts going, meow, all crazy. And I told our players, we need more dogs. Bo's barking in the back. I have to go shut Bo up. Mel was like, what's going on? I said, there's a cat in the house. Cat in the house? I said, yeah, there's a cat in the house. So I told our players, I tried to let it out the front door. Meow, meow, the cat's still going crazy in there. And I told our players, you need to be more like a dog. We don't need a bunch of cats in here looking in the mirror. Do I look good? I got my extra bands on. I got my other shoes on. Be a dog.
Classic.
We don't need no meows. We don't need no cats. We need more dogs.
We need more dogs, baby. And the dogs will be barking. I like to think we're a couple of dogs. 133 teams, 133 podcasts. And that doesn't even account for what we're doing here.
I think you still haven't introduced yourself at this point. I think that was the longest.
I said I picked Dundee.
Okay.
I fucking picked Dundee. All right.
You know David Bennett. Is that his name,
Yeah.
I think? Yeah.
Yeah, David Bennett. And look, I learned something new when I was talking to, shout out to our guy, College Football Campus Tour, a.k.a. Michael Barker. I did not know that Brooks Stadium is named after the creator of Hooters.
Oh, you don't say.
Yes, I think they might be the greatest team ever. I think they might. Look, I love East Carolina. We can't compete like that. You know what I mean?
Hooters and Myrtle Beach go hand in hand.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. They do. Look, I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi, well,
let's go. Let's go.
Robert Howell Brooks. I believe you're right.
I love this time of year, folks.
Fucking Coastal Carolina.
They're great. All right. We are also joined by third man in the booth. Remember, we host the USFL gambling podcast, and that season's coming down to the wire. But we still, they call this guy the DFS god for college football, but we're still playing DFS USFL. So give it up for the rooftop IPA drinking, homebrew making, tobacco road living, the free lack giving, former Herndon Basketball League MVP. Give it up for NC Nick in the place to be.
There we go. What's up, guys?
Oh, what's this? I know you're not in Hawaii, but you're going to the beach next week. So I feel like that was appropriate. Guys,
I'll be right by Coastal Carolina Stadium.
You'll be at that Hooters.
They should have Hooters in that stadium.
Yeah, they should have a Hooters. Oh, that's genius.
And don't forget what they do for big time night games there. They have a tunnel of Harleys lined up on the field that are all cranking their engines, and the players run through there. So it is white trash beautiful.
Oh, dude.
Oh, we missed an opportunity with Big Bird and Hooters.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But man, I can remember Daytona Beach. I made the mistake as like an 18-year-old going to Daytona Beach during biker week. That was ridiculous. And then I did Myrtle Beach one year. It was biker week. Dude, look, if you got a bike, I'm sure that's fun and games. If you don't, it's a miserable fucking experience. You just need to be shit hammered the entire time because I mean, granted, we were staying at like an Econo Lodge that was like 30 inches off of the street. Yeah. So it was, the house was vibrating constantly from all these guys on their Harleys and shit. But
now you have to specify, because at Myrtle Beach, there's 2 bike weeks. There's your normal bike week, and hope I can say this. I think I can. It's fine. And there's Black Biker Week.
No, we're offended. We're offended.
No, both of them are fantastic to go to because the people watching is top notch.
Yeah, it's honestly, I think I would have enjoyed it if I was like off the strip. It was just like, God damn it,
man, it's too crazy.
I got so sick of hearing fucking motorcycles go. Right. So I was just like, stop it.
You cannot be on the strip. I suggest be about 20 minutes away so you can kind of just drive through. And
that's what I need to do.
On my way out across the country, when we came out here the second time, I stumbled on Sturgis and I didn't know what the fuck it was. Man. And I was like, what the fuck?
That makes Myrtle Beach look like
it was
like child's play.
Dude, I wanted to stop in, but it was just like it was too much. I was like, keep driving, Pat. Keep fucking driving. But man, no, that I want to Black Biker Week. That sounds fucking amazing. Are they on Harleys or is it like street bikes or both?
Yes.
Yeah.
Both? All the above.
All the above.
Yes.
They should do Asian Biker Week too. They should come down from like New York City. Look like a fucking Seagal movie. You know what I mean? Exit wounds or something. I don't know. But it'd be fantastic. Folks, look, before we get into talking all about college football, I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by Edge Boost. Yes, Edge Boost is the world's first bet now, pay later Visa card. Edge currently offers up to $2,500 in betting advances, which can be extremely valuable tool. Imagine what you can do with an increased bankroll. Say you're down there in Myrtle Beach and you get shit hammered with a bunch of people at the at the bike week or at Brooks Stadium, whatever you want to say.
At that bar, I tagged you guys in Suck Bang Blow.
Yeah, still very questionable. That's still under investigation.
Why you were familiar
and that's a straight bar? That's a straight bar? Are we sure about that?
I mean, it's a biker bar.
Let's go to replay. Well, actually, I don't know that I want to watch that replay, but my point is that you might be down there at Suck Bang Blow and spending way too much money, and all of a sudden, you realize that you might have had a few cocktails and bet on the wrong team. Probably maybe you bet on UVA last year, and you're just assed out. And now you don't have to sit there and make it, put another $500 in your account and then have your wife ask you questions or whoever, if you're at Suck Bang Blow, there could be a lot of people asking questions. But they might be one, you don't have to worry about that. You can just go boom, because Ed just currently offers $2,500 in betting advances, $2,500. So get down on maybe your favorite future you like, double down on a favorite bet you like. You could even middle or hedge, even though that's absolutely disgusting. Look, Edge Boost also, you don't have to worry. All right. This isn't Paulie 2 times. It's going to beat your ass in the parking lot after you're done, shopping at the old Macy's. Right. Look, this is, they charge 0 interest This is like so much safer than anyone that says, "Oh, the gambling. Look at the Alabama baseball." No, this is way safer. At least we found out about Alabama baseball, and you still got your knees. All right, walking around like Patrick Ewing in the fourth quarter. All right, they charge 0 interest. Okay, that's fantastic too, because that's half the battle. I feel like back in the day, you end up paying somebody, and then you don't have enough money.
Yeah,
the interest keeps growing. You never get out of this hole. Next thing you know, you're fucking under a different name, living in fucking Guatemala. Yeah, but that's my point. So this is a lot better. 0 interest. So get over there. They could be a part of responsible gambling. They can help set you up daily, weekly, monthly limits across all of your betting accounts at one place. Support SGPN and grow your bankroll by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge to sign up. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge. Must be 21 years or older to use. Problem gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, we are back on the college football experience. And guys, I know we got to get to our draft, and shout out to everyone in the chat. GBO Farms legend, Mexi Melt legend, and everyone else that's there, legend in my mind. But we got to talk. I know we kind of touched base on this, but it seems to be that UConn to the Big 12 in all sports is heating up. And it was funny. I saw even John Rothstein, who covers college basketball, explain that they are, I think, they owe about like $26 million or 24. I forget the exact number.
UConn does?
Yeah, they're in the red. And it's funny for all these people that think they should stay in the Big East. Even though there's like a big exit fee of like $30 million. They already owe. They're already in the red. You know what gets them out of that? With basketball, they make $5 million per year, right?
That doesn't seem like a whole lot.
That's not.
Guess what happens if they join the Big 12? They're going to be making $40+ million a year.
On basketball or football?
No, on their athletic department. But them being an independent, they probably don't even make money on football right now.
Yeah.
This is a no-brainer, guys. If this happens, then I know you're excited about the rebirth of the civil conflict. If this happens,
I mean, that
UCF,
rivalry is going to explode. Let's be honest.
Well, that's the thing. You got some old. They got a history of the UCF with the civil conflict. You got the WVU used to be in the Big East, right? Yeah. Cincinnati used to be in the Big East. So you got a couple. You got a little.
Well, you shore up your Eastern presence for sure.
What do you make of Nick UConn to the Big East, or I'm sorry, the Big 12? Yay or nay?
I mean, if you're UConn, yeah, it's a no-brainer. I think you have to. Now, I think I've seen up to maybe 20 teams rumored to the Big 12, so I'm not going to get all excited about it just yet. But I think if UConn has an opportunity, they must take it, because basketball is not going to bring in enough money to keep all those athletic programs afloat. So you got to go where the money is. You got to go football, and you got to build your football program, and you need money to do that. And that's what the Big 12 will offer.
And you're so close to New York City. The NIL opportunities, if you guys ever got good. Jim Mora, by the way, I read that he thinks he can win a national championship at UConn. Now, I'm sure every coach everywhere will say, hey, yeah, we're at Western Carolina. We can win it all. Right. But, to say it to reporters is a bit different. To say, hey, I believe we can win a national championship here.
Well, if you're in the Power 5, that certainly helps.
Yeah.
If you're not, then if you're not Notre Dame, then no, you don't. If you're independent.
Yeah. So that would be a big jump there. And look,
I mean, it's kind of a perfect move. I mean, I know we've talked about this a million times, like Texas and Oklahoma haven't. I mean, Oklahoma has. They've dominated the Big 12, but Texas hasn't. But still, Texas and Oklahoma are two of the only teams that have made the national championship game in the Big 12 in recent history. Obviously, TCU recently, but with those two teams
TCU more recently,
yes.
When the last time Oklahoma's been since like 06 or something, right? Or
yeah, but they've been in the conversation a lot.
Okay,
and they've dominated the Big 12, pretty conclusively. But look, if they are able to up their recruiting a little bit, and then they're kind of in the same recruiting range as a lot of these other teams, then they could pop out and get an automatic bid in a 12-team playoff and start to actually build that thing, instead of having like a fluke moment like they did in 2010, something maybe, like that.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting, and I actually think that one's more interesting. Yormark, obviously from New York City, he wants to get into that blueprint. So I actually think that one's almost more believable than half the ACC teams. But
look, the ACC survives on being a basketball conference and being one of the best basketball conferences in the country. They keep themselves relevant. I think Yormark's smart and cornering the basketball market, especially if Gonzaga and San Diego State are also in play.
Yeah.
But then UConn, obviously, then it's like every
team that's ever been to a national championship.
Yeah, every spring you're focused on the Big 12 for 3 months out of the year, and then but they're still kind of in your mind come fall. They don't completely fall off the radar. So I think going after basketball has some benefit.
And TCU just played for. I know they got their ass whooped, but they still went to the national championship.
They'd still be a decent, solid football conference.
Yeah,
So, I was going to say it certainly helped the ACC that Clemson, among others, were in the college football playoffs every year. And also won some championships. That brought a lot of money into the conference.
No doubt.
All right. Well, look, I wanted to touch base on that because I saw reports about that, and that'd be in all sports. That'd be very interesting. UConn obviously has a basketball team that's won 5 national championships in the past 20 some years. Also, their baseball team, good. Past 2 years, they made the NCAA tournament. So there you go, there, folks. Another thing I wanted to touch base on is we should have known better, guys. We should have known better that this cowardly conference, in my opinion. They talk a lot of shit. Shout out to GBO Farms. I'm coming for you. Because the SEC, they decided that they're going to go with the 8-game schedule. And I say,
and you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
I mean, is there anything more ridiculous than this? And look, they said they're open to change it in a year or two. I don't give a shit. Like, this is a 16-team conference. This is pathetic. You soft little bitches that talk all this shit anywhere, anytime. You're soft little bitches. All right. You're soft little bitches. And you're lucky that you can tout the bowl games because they're all in SEC states. All right. This is ridiculous. This is the fact that we might not get Texas A&M. I just lose. I want to not watch the SEC. That's what it makes me do. Because it bothers the shit out of me. What, you're going to preserve that UT Martin Alabama rivalry? Good God. What do you make of it? I mean, come on.
Well, here's what I make of it. I think most SEC teams' argument is that we still play a harder schedule than most
they don't.
Other teams because we have. I think they might.
No, maybe if you're LSU, but LSU and Georgia were voting for it.
Well, here's what my takeaway is. You may be playing a harder schedule, but as a conference on the whole, you benefit from playing less games against each other because that's less guaranteed losses. And when you fill those spots with guaranteed wins, then the whole conference looks better. Okay, yeah.
Dude,
Alabama may play Georgia, right? And that makes the hardest game on anyone's schedule, but one of those teams wins
never play.
Yeah,
Alabama plays Georgia once every 20 years.
Okay, but Florida, LSU, they play every year. How about?
Well, Florida hasn't been good. Florida's been terrible.
One of those teams is guaranteed a win against either Florida or LSU every fucking year. Okay, and so, yeah, that's a tough game, and whoever wins that deserves the credit for that win. But just because they're playing that hard game doesn't mean they should be excused from playing other hard games that other teams are playing.
The SEC has the best top to any conference, right? Georgia, Alabama, LSU, those 3 in general are just that. But 2 of those 3 are voting for 9. Nick Saban, and fuck you, Nick Saban. All right, because this is the most ridiculous take here. He complains when no one shows up for his FCS games, and he said forever, "No, we should play only Power 5 opponents." Oh, well, guess what? Your vote was the deciding fucking vote, and you changed your ways and said, "Hey, no, actually." No, we want to do an 8-game conference schedule. All right. Well, don't complain when no one shows up to see the Citadel in Alabama. I'm so sick of it. I am so sick of it, dude. I mean, Nick, what'd you make of this 8-game nonsense?
Well, I mean, we talked about this in depth last week. If people want to go back and listen to that, if they haven't, the SEC has a formula that has worked for them very well. They are the richest conference that has had the most success on the football field. So why change that formula, even if it's to the overall detriment of college football as a whole? Yeah, it sucks. The tragedy is that we won't get to see Tennessee, Alabama every year, Texas A&M every year, Florida, LSU every year. I mean, there's a handful of really good games that are technically the team's second rivalry game that won't happen every year now, and that is a damn shame. It sucks.
It's ridiculous, and it's funny. Peter Burns, who I not the biggest fan of, but he tweeted out this, and I thought this was hilarious. He goes, since the NCAA approved 12-game schedules in 2006, no team playing a 9-game conference schedule has ever won a college football national championship. He said the Big 10, Pac-12, and Big 12 haven't won a title since moving to 9 conference games. Ohio State won one, but they were playing 8 conference games back in 2014. Meanwhile, the SEC and ACC has won. SEC has won 13 titles. ACC has won 3. Yeah, no shit. But he's tweeting that out in a good way. This is proving our point that you need you need unity on knowing the same amount or playing the same amount of fucking conference games. It's so stupid. Listen to this nugget too. This was a great tweet by Scott Doctorman. And he said teams playing 10 or more Power 5 opponents in 2023. The ACC has 10 of 15 if you count Notre Dame. The Big 10 has 13 of 14. The Big 12 has 11 of 14. The Pac-12 has 10 of 12. And the SEC has 2 of 14. 2 of 14.
Play 10 conference, 10 Power 5 conference games.
This is just like, what are we doing? We keep trying to.
It completely eliminates the win total, element of how to judge a resume, right?
This is
and
just
that
nonsense.
is the biggest element that is judged because it's the first one that meets your eyeball. 11-1 versus 10-2. Yeah, well, you play a fucking way harder team every year than this conference.
I don't care. Look, even if the fact is that you play, that you have like. You're the top of, because I really think it's just the top of the SEC. Like, to me, there's no difference to me between Missouri and Kentucky and Missouri make a bowl game every year, but really they're the same as like a 5-7 team in another conference, right? But they've just went 6 or 7. I know Kentucky's had a couple decent years in there, but they were better than that. But for the most part, I feel like it's been that. Arkansas last year, I think, was 6-6 going into their bowl, and that's what
bothers you is that they get elevated to bowl status.
No, it doesn't bother me because I understand the logic of playing more football, and I'm pro that. But I'm saying is that they're the same. They're the same as, to me, what Maryland was last year in the Big Ten, or as another 5-7 team that just missed a bowl. You know what I mean?
That's true. It doesn't only elevate the 10 or 11 win teams at that threshold, but it elevates the whole resume underneath it. A lot of those teams in the SEC get that free ride.
You know what I mean? And it's like, yes, Alabama, Georgia, and LSU are doing all your work. And meanwhile, South Carolina's collecting the checks, but also the fact that they really haven't been that good of a program over the past 10 years. You know what I mean? Like they've been like, honestly, I think you can make the case that Iowa State's been, at least under the Campbell era, as good, if not better than South Carolina. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you could go one by one on those schools that are kind of interchangeable.
Well, South Carolina kind of does with Clemson, but the fact that they probably don't play many other, they have a built-in Power 5 non-conference game.
But I'm just saying though that the SEC is known as the best conference around.
Yeah,
and that's really because of LSU, Georgia, and Alabama,
and Florida.
Florida's they've been pretty shitty in the past decade though.
Auburn's bubbled up.
Yeah.
Tennessee maybe bubbling up now. So they have your basis of like 3 really good teams, and you have random teams pop up. It makes you a pretty strong conference. Obviously,
obviously they're the strongest conference, but at the same time, like, I don't believe, and me and GBO Farms were talking about this, like the SEC East, no, I'm not giving them that love. The SEC West, I will. And I find it ridiculous that, all these other teams can get this is an SEC opponent. No, beating Missouri is nothing. Boston College just beat Missouri the other year. All right.
Kansas State whipped them 40-12, I think, last year.
So to me, it's just, I don't know. It's just, this is pathetic. And for a conference that talks the most shit, I think you're little bitches. I think you're little bitches right here.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into this.
Send your hate mail, SEC fans, to
dude. I want to see Texas A&M is like one that I was like so excited that if we're gonna get this crazy thing, I was like, oh, well, that's back on.
No, did the ACC announce they're going to 9?
No, but they need to go to 8. They need to go to 7.
But so they're also not expanding, Patty.
Yeah.
Not yet, anyway.
They need to go to 7.
They're not. Yeah, it was the ACC sitting at 14.
They need to schedule more aggressively out of conference because I'm serious. Like,
let's give the ACC a hard time. I mean,
no, they're terrible too, but at least they play all those group of 5s on the road. The ACC does 8 games, 8 conference games, but they play at the group of 5.
They
last year, North Carolina
heavy
played
too.
at App State and at Georgia State in back-to-back weeks.
And they played Notre Dame. So and that's another thing is you have the Notre Dame angle.
For what 6 or how many teams does
5 a year?
5 a year.
So I mean, the proof is in the pudding. How many you said 12 out of 14 ACC or 10 out of 14 ACC teams played 10 Power 5 games?
But I still would like to see, honestly, like if we're going to be trying to model this thing after the NFL, then okay, everyone play the same amount of Power 5s.
Some uniformity would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into this. All right, I'm sick of 8-game conference schedule. I just couldn't believe they found a way to finagle that thing again. I could not believe that,
you should have seen it coming.
I should have. I'm curious. The Big Ten, are they going to switch now because they're going to 16 next year? I'm curious. We'll find out, folks. But all right, let's get into the. Let's get into
12 undefeated teams in the playoff.
Yeah, that's. I mean, come on, man. It's padding some of that shit. They've been doing that for years. It was Kentucky really a 10-win team one of those years or 9-win team? No. So they play 3 MAC schools and fucking Youngstown State every year. Come on. Let's go. Where's my draft song? All right, NC Nick, you're on the clock.
I will take you
doing here
to the best conference in the land, the almighty SEC. No, not Bedlam. The best game this weekend, hands down. No argument, is LSU at Alabama. The game has been absolute fire especially the last 10 years, but it goes all the way back to 1895. The two teams have split the last 4 matchups. In Brian Kelly's first year, LSU beat Alabama, which propelled them to the SEC championship game. And like last year, it was a 10-win team versus an 11-win team. It's been a great rivalry of late. What more could you ask for?
We could ask for this every year.
Yeah. We've had it every year.
It seems like it's not going to be every year, but yes, this
That's
game
in the future.
I want to shout out Brian Kelly. Did you see his comments?
What did he
say? They asked, because Saban didn't want to play Auburn and LSU and Tennessee every year. They asked Brian Kelly, and Brian Kelly's like, "No, I want to play. I want to play them." He goes, "I didn't come to the SEC to be playing, Grambling. I came there to be playing Saban and playing Florida." I'm like, I'm on board. Brian Kelly and his family winning me over. I might join his fucking family. Let's go.
That just adds a little bit more excitement in this. I mean, before it was Coach O and all the recruits, going, the LSU players going over to the Alabama recruits in the stands. There's always something. There's always an extra angle in this matchup, which makes it a lot of fun.
Well, how about this angle? Tommy Rees versus Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly coached him, brought him on. It's his star pupil, and he has probably got him dialed in. But I'm sure Tommy Rees is looking to notch a big win over his old mentor there.
Yeah. I mean, that's gonna be. I mean, that it's fair. Last year's game, I think last year's game, and I know GBF Farms in the chat. I think the best game of the season was Alabama Tennessee, right?
Yeah, probably.
See, I know how to go back into the audience. So, hey, I know he's butthurt about my comments about.
It's a comedy background here. You shit on the audience for a half hour,
there you
and
go.
You bring him back.
Right? Look, I know he's upset about the SEC's vagina, but at least Tennessee and Bama was fire last year. But you could make the case that Bama LSU might have been the second best game.
Let me throw Tennessee another bone. Their night game where they're wearing the black, that was the most aesthetically pleasing game of the year. It was beautiful.
Not bad for a university that paid Army $1 million not to play. Anyway, let's go. Yeah, I mean, that game's fantastic. I the fact that last year's game was crazy, the fact that I think LSU's got a better team right now, like that we know coming into the season. I think LSU's roster, we know more about it than we know Alabama's. and they have the better quarterback play by a large amount, I would say.
The game is in Tuscaloosa this year.
True.
Which doesn't necessarily mean Alabama's got any better of a chance than they do when they're playing in Baton Rouge. I think LSU typically gets it done in Alabama.
1 year with Brad
they typically
Johnson's
choke
son.
in Baton Rouge against Bama.
They almost won. What was that, 2 years ago? They
About the game
won
I
Bama.
mentioned with Coach O, with the recruits in the stands.
Yeah, I mean, Coach O, what do you say? This
great.
is our house now.
That was with Burrow. With Burrow. Then
2019.
the next time with Max Johnson.
Yeah,
they almost knocked him off. All right, let's Patty C. You're on the clock. Or no, wait, you on the clock? Where the hell's my sheet here?
What do we got here?
No, I'm on the clock.
There
yeah,
you go.
See, try to pull a fast one there.
Freaking awesome week, by the way.
It is an awesome week. How about the fact? I mean, what you got? You got 11 weekday games going on between the FBS and FCS. Shout out to college football. All right. Well, you said you're not. Yeah, I got to play this one because it's the final one, right? It's been known, right? It's been known that Oklahoma and Oklahoma State aren't going to play anymore.
Now, for a rivalry that's been so dominated by one team over the other, even though the other, the little brother here has choked away so many perfect opportunities.
Remember the extra point?
God,
oh my gosh, that was one of the years Oklahoma made the playoff too.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I'm just saying, how much does the nation really respect this as a great rivalry? Just because it's such a case of little brother shit in the bed.
91, 19, and 7, the all-time series. I guess it's been a little bit better, but Oklahoma State's only won 3 times in the last 20 years.
Yeah, it's tough. That's tough. But man, they've had some close games though. Like I said, the missed extra point game. You had a 62-52 one. You had
literally after that missed extra point game. I feel like there's a thing where Oklahoma State can't get it done. I'll believe it when I see it. It's one of those games. I still like to watch it, but I feel like they're going to find a way.
Well, this is the final time we get it. So
it's crazy if they don't do non-conference.
Much like LSU. No, Oklahoma State's made it known.
Oh,
they're not
really?
doing it. Yeah.
Wow.
And much like LSU Bama, which we might not have next year, we don't have Bedlam.
Wow. Okay.
I'm still taking it here. Oklahoma. And
Oklahoma
that's a good
State.
Pick
If Bedlam's going to be gone after this.
Well, especially last game, and it's at Oklahoma State, which is nice because that place is going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, extraordinary.
Please, Cowboys. Please, Cowboys. Get this done.
I'm going to be the biggest. I might buy 2 pistols and start shooting them off in Los Angeles. Right.
Even though, somebody could argue that it's a 7-win team against a 6-win team from a year ago, but still, I think that this is my second, game here because it is a great rivalry, and it's probably the last time we're going to see them in a long time. So sign me up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't care about the national perception of the fucking rivalry. All right. True. I care about watching Oklahoma against Oklahoma State. So this is the second best game. I agree that LSU Bama was my number 1 ranked game, but give me Bedlam for the final time. You college football, you TV exec sissies. All right.
I actually thought hipster Big 12 Colby would have this game first.
No, I had LSU Bama. Those games have been fucking great.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like the fact, let's talk about this. Is college football really getting better? I thought one of the perks was getting Texas A&M, but that's not happening. We're going to lose LSU Bama probably because definitely because Auburn Alabama will be protected.
Dude, there's no way Texas A&M isn't the protected rivalry.
No, it's Oklahoma Texas.
They've already announced it.
It's gonna be. That's the
Oklahoma,
number 1
Texas
like rated
bigger.
Game. Yeah,
it wasn't.
Man.
No,
it wasn't.
I think it always has been.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
From a TV rating standpoint. That's all. It's definitely going to be that as the one.
I mean, I guess dating back to the 70s, it's been pretty damn big.
So we're going to lose.
What fancy name like the Red River Shootout did Texas A&M have? I don't think there's any kind of moniker to that game.
I don't know, but there was a movie in the 80s with Dolly Parton and a bunch of whores at a whorehouse that focused heavily on the Texas A&M game. Sure. So that's a winner.
Well, it was written by R.C. Slocum wrote that. Look, no. But my question, I'm curious. Like we lose, so next year we're not going to have LSU Bama. We won't have Texas A&M. We won't have Oklahoma State. Who is fucking winning in this scenario? The fan is certainly not.
Yeah, that's true.
Schools are because they're making
Out
more
with
money.
the old, in with the new,
It's
Colby.
fucking terrible. I quit. I'm done.
Go
I'm
yell
walking
at a
off set.
cloud.
Walking off set. Look, I've already yelled at a lot of clouds in my day. All right.
No, it's terrible. It's
Patty
terrible.
C, you're on the clock.
Well, we're going back to familiar territory, a recent playoff game, if you can call it that. ACC battle of sorts. Notre Dame visits Clemson, South Carolina, in what could be a playoff determining game in the final 4-team playoff. This is a big game, and both of these teams have potential to be in striking distance of the playoff at this point in the season.
I just released a top 25 most interesting teams in college football to watch, or not most interesting, but to watch each week essentially. So I guess the most interesting, whatever the fuck. But I put Notre Dame in there because let me ask you something, guys. If Marcus Freeman goes 7-5, do they think about?
They'll start thinking about it, but no, they won't pull the plug just yet on him.
Have they ever?
They're
won?
recruiting really well.
They won once in Clemson in '77. Notre Dame did. That's the only time.
No, they won last year.
Not in Clemson.
They won
in
the 2
Clemson.
games in South Bend. Everywhere else
you're
they
right.
lost. They lost at Clemson recently. They lost in Charlotte for the ACC championship, and they lost in the Cotton Bowl. The 2 teams have played each other 5 times in the last 8 years. It's 3-2 in Clemson's favor, but the 2 Notre Dame wins were in South Bend.
I will say in 2015, the only one that was in Clemson, it took an actual hurricane to keep Notre Dame from winning that game, and a pick play that Clemson won the national championship on against Alabama being called back against Notre Dame that would have won it.
These games have been fun and they've been meaningful. I mean, you mentioned that game. I just mentioned the ACC championship and the Cotton Bowl. So this matchup has been pretty damn fun the last 5 years or so.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'll lay the points with Clemson.
You don't even know what it is.
I'll lay it. Talk to me. No, but it's a good game, and no, I'm excited. If this was, I always love it in South Bend because you have these little South Carolina sissies coming up. I'm joking, but no, this is a great game.
I feel like South Carolina fans probably go pretty hard.
True, but they lose when they go to cold weather. That's my point. We never see college football in cold weather. The Southern teams never have to go to the North.
It's true.
That's another thing that we would like. Like, can we make that fair? Let's do our conference games, our out of conference games. How about SEC? If you're going to do 3,000 and non-con games, can you play
one in each month? Play one in September, one in October.
On the road though, not all at home.
I hate to break it to you, Colby, but other than a couple little bubbles like Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, college football is the South, and the South is college football. I said it.
You don't know about the history of college football, where
Wisconsin
it was born, buddy.
Just being disrespected.
Yeah.
What has Wisconsin been lately?
What
What
Nebraska?
are you talking about?
What has Nebraska been lately?
Oh, you sound like Stuart Mandel or something. Past 10 years of college football. It's talking about them. They're like, I was listening to them talk about Utah, and look, and I love Utah's program, but they're like Utah's culture. So it goes back far. I'm like, what are you talking? And they're blasting Colorado, and I'm like, wait, I understand Colorado's had a tough 15 years, right? Really tough. But I was like, their history is longer. I think you can go back further and find better years in the Utah Utes.
Let me tell you this.
Short memory here.
Nebraska Cornhuskers have as many national titles as the Florida Gators in the last 50 years. Sit on that.
But we'll see how Matt Rule does, because they definitely have their work cut out for him. But anyway, what the hell was I talking about? I don't remember. Oh, play on the road. Play on the road. We want to see, and look at the ACC teams. This is what I love about the Notre Dame thing, is that we saw Clemson go up there and lose in the cold weather last year. You know what I mean? So I like that. I want to see that,
and for some reason, Notre Dame seems to attract hurricanes when they come to the Southeast.
Yeah, that's
there
true.
was the Clemson game. There was the NC State game.
North Carolina, I think too.
Yeah.
And we're going to start to see it. It's going to be fun seeing USC have to go to Wisconsin too, even though I guess we kind of saw that when they went to.
No, this game though,
Pullman or
November
something.
4th, I think hurricane season's over by November, right? Usually August, September.
Technically, but you never know.
Never know.
GBO Farm says we'll play at Rutgers anytime. Hey, well, Rutgers in the past 10 years, 2-0 against the Arkansas Razorbacks, buddy. All right. I know you're a Tennessee guy.
Be
but
careful now.
I don't think they've played, but
especially after what you did to Shiano.
that's true. Oh, please let that happen.
Go to
Please
Rutgers.
let that happen.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. It's my pick again.
Yeah, it's back to you. I don't know what the hell we're talking about.
I might have just said the South is college football. And while that is true, there's a great game out west. It's Pac-12. It's Washington at USC. 2 11-win teams from a year ago. This game also could, have some say in who could potentially make the playoffs. They haven't played since 2019, but I mean, come on, man. This is a great game, and it's definitely top 5.
How the hell they not played since 2019 when they was? I mean, that's right, the COVID year where they played like one game. Remember that? We're gonna have a season. We're gonna play a 1-game season. No, it was 4.
Wait, was that the year that Washington got jobbed out of the Pac-12 championship game?
Oh, that was last year.
Oh wait, no. I think in the COVID season, Washington was supposed to be in there, and Oregon took their place. If I'm not mistaken.
Washington's won the last time they went to LA. Wow, they've actually won 2 of the last 3 in LA. Interesting.
One note of this game: it is the second of back-to-back road trips for UW.
Interesting. Who do you guys think? Who do you guys think will? Who's the better team right now?
I kind of feel like this is. I think USC might struggle against more physical teams. I think this game probably lines up pretty well for USC. I think it's gonna be a shootout, but I don't think they're gonna be out toughed by Washington.
But I trust Washington's defense more than I do USC's.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what. Number 3 versus number 7 overall offense in the country, with USC being 3 and Washington being 7. But the number 1 versus number 3 passing offenses in the country, with Washington being number 1, USC being number 3.
That's what I'm saying.
And
like
both returning quarterbacks. So this is a great game.
Yeah.
Shootout.
Washington's defense is better than USC, so it makes it a very compelling matchup.
Could this determine the Heisman Trophy winner?
No, they won't give it to a guy in Washington. Come on.
You don't think?
Yeah.
Penix leads the nation, and they go to the playoff. He's probably winning the Heisman.
Remember when Colt Brennan threw for 7 million touchdowns and they didn't give him the Heisman Trophy, but they gave him the Ty Detmer.
He was at Hawaii though.
Hey, they gave him the Ty Detmer.
Well,
they gave
that's
it to Andre Ware.
Utah's pretty far west.
No, they used to just look at the best stats.
Yeah, I know.
Then they shifted and said, no, we just got to give it to Ohio State, Alabama, LSU, and Georgia.
Been an East Coast bias pretty much forever with that.
I'm still pissed that Jake Locker didn't pull down that Heisman Trophy.
Hey, you can hit dingers too. Look, this game's fantastic. You can make a case. You could make a case. You could make a case. This is going to be a lot closer than the Oklahoma State game.
You never know. I think that game's going to be close too.
True. All right.
How good is Washington?
They're really good.
You think they're really good? What'd they do last year? They're 10
11 and 2.
11. Yeah. All right. I got to pay attention to Washington.
All right, it jumps over to Dundee, and you're going to try to do all this nonsense here. All right, you guys are missing out on classics left and right. All right, you're missing out. Man, there's a lot that I like out there right now. This week is fantastic.
It really is.
We talk about that. This week is really fun. Man, okay. I'm taking you to Austin, Texas, where everyone, once again, if you look at the odds-on favorite to win the Big 12, you'll see Texas, the preseason favorite, Oklahoma, the favorite after that. And then you have the Kansas State Wildcats, who seem to fuck up Oklahoma every year, and they've won the Big 12. Well, last year, but I believe they won it another time before that over the Texas Longhorns. Texas hasn't won the Big 12 since fucking the Bush administration. So
senior or junior?
We went to this game,
or
Kansas
junior or the third. Go ahead.
That had to be your bull.
Herbert or
Kansas State at Texas.
Kansas State was co-champions in 2012 as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they've won 2 Big 12 championships.
Texas's last one was 2009.
Yeah. So 2
got them.
So what is the Big 12 really losing here? Oklahoma, watch it though. Oklahoma's probably going to win the Big 12 this year because Kansas State's not on the schedule. Kansas State's got a long history of fucking up Oklahoma seasons, but this game's fantastic. It's in Austin. We've been to this very game. K-State at Texas. Nick, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a great game. I mean, at one point in the 2000s, K-State won 7 out of 10, but somewhat surprisingly with the Longhorn struggles recently, they've actually won 6 in a row in this series. But 5 of them have been by one-score games. The only outlier was a 69-31 shellacking of Kansas State in Manhattan, believe it or not. But, I mean, they're all close games. It just somehow Texas has pulled them out lately. But I think it definitely deserves to be played here. Should be a good one.
Something about the uniforms that I love in this matchup. You know what I mean?
They're just 2 beautiful uniforms.
Uniform porn. What'd you call it again?
No, this is not a case
don't
of
pull it up. Let that die. Let that die out on its own.
Homosexuality. They are not at all homo. These are heterosexual teams, right? Aesthetic. Well, I don't know what we're trying to say here. Look, what was that game? 34-27 last year in the Little Apple. Texas, meanwhile, some prognosticators are putting them in, ridiculous, but in the playoff conversation. Meanwhile, Kansas State, do we expect a step back? You think they're going to be better? You think the running back play is going to be better?
They returned their whole offensive line, and that quarterback he improved. He took a gigantic step last year. So they bring back their quarterback that started the majority of the games, Will Howard, and then I think their power rushing attack is going to be even better, which I think will open up the play action even more.
Texas was decent last year.
Sure.
Overtime loss at Texas Tech. 7-point loss at Oklahoma State.
They should have lost to Iowa State, though. Should have beat Alabama. Should have lost to Iowa State. Probably would have had the same record.
I don't know. Maybe we're not giving Texas enough credit here, but good game.
Maybe we're not giving Kansas State enough credit here. They won the fucking Big 12. All right.
Well, I think that's always the case. No one gives Kansas State enough credit.
All right. Patty C, you're on the clock.
Bouncing around, I think we dropped down a tier here. I think those are the star games on the schedule, but I do think there's one that has potential, and especially if people think Florida State is as good as a lot of people think they will be. A really tough trip on their schedule is up to Pittsburgh. This could be a difference maker between a 10 or 11 win regular season and a playoff berth or not a playoff berth.
Just wish it was an on-campus game, that NFL stadium,
Yeah, but Pittsburgh will fill this one out. Even it's still something about Heinz Field. A, doesn't live up to Three Rivers, and then B, probably doesn't live up to the Pittsburgh college experience.
No, because it's not on campus.
Yeah,
right.
It just doesn't feel. That's one of the flaws. It's one of the flaws. They got to get it back on campus. They got to play at Duquesne's fucking stadium. I don't care.
Yeah. Either way, though, assuming Florida State loses at Clemson early in the season, there's a chance that they go 11-1 if they have an amazing season and get revenge in the ACC championship game against Clemson, propel themselves into the playoffs. But this road trip to Pittsburgh would be the other biggest hurdle, I think, on that schedule.
Pitt has they lead this series 6-4.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's also the second of a back-to-back road trip, but look at this. The road trip is at Wake Forest and at Pitt. Not exactly hostile environments.
But 2 tough games. It's going to, cause the coordinators and the head coach to be scheming.
This is one that's like a contrast in styles to me. And I actually think the Jerkovic thing, I think he's a really good quarterback. I was a bit perplexed that he went to Pitt because Mark Whipple's not there. But I think for Jordan Travis, who plays such reckless ball, like you see, he gets injured a lot. Now he's a very good quarterback, but his style of play leaves him getting hit often. And Pitt is a team that lays the lumber. They're they're like an old school college football team. So that makes this game very, very interesting. To me.
Jerkovic from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So.
Yeah, and he knew Signetti. He was the OC at BC. That was the connection. But still, I think he's a really good quarterback. Yeah, I actually think he's underrated. But
that's a huge get.
It is
huge get for Pitt.
It's a good game, but I don't know. Maybe a weekday game should have been played over it, just because it's
always coming at you, Patty.
It's a good game. It really is. But I mean, look, it's 19 combined wins from last year, so you can't argue with that.
Can't argue with that, and you can't argue that the fact that we're brought to you by Underdog Fantasy and they're fantastic. You can't argue that. All right, yes, Best Ball Mania is here, and Underdog's giving away $15 million in prizes. Come on, folks! Plus, there's plenty of ways to win on their player prop parlays through the NBA, NHL, and MLB. That's a lot of fun. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use that promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. All right. NC Nick, it jumps back to you.
You should have called me weekday, Nick, because that's where we're going. Thursday night is fantastic. My only complaint is that they should have spread out these 3 games a bit more because, well, first off, this is the first week where we have Maction. So there's MAC games Tuesday and Wednesday. There's 3 very good matchups Thursday, and then there's 2 not so great ones
and an FCS Thursday and an FCS Friday.
This is the first week we have Maction, week 10.
Yeah, on Tuesday or Wednesday.
It always starts in November.
Yeah.
Interesting. I feel like man, this should be celebrated more, and we should encourage them to start earlier.
Well, I think this year is not going to be as special because this year we have CUSA on Tuesdays and Wednesdays before this week.
I think I actually kind of like it because it gives us a sample of that conference and a sample of this conference.
But the other thing is that Thursday, the 3 games are TCU, Texas Tech, Wake Forest, Duke, South Alabama, Troy. They all start at either 7 or 7:30 Eastern time too. So they are all at the same time, which look, I mean, we all got multiple TVs, but I like to focus my weekdays, focus on the big matchup. So here, the game I'm going to pick, it's the better game, even though it pains me to say it, because I'll probably be watching the other one a little bit more closely. But let's be honest, TCU at Texas Tech is a notch better than the one right down the road from me.
Well, I mean, this could be for the Big 12, like to play in the Big 12 championship. Both teams, were very good a season ago, and they Texas Tech brings back a ton. So
I will say it has been lopsided recently. TCU has won 4 in a row, and the last 3 all by double digits. But I think this game is going to be close. I don't think Lubbock hosts many primetime weekday games often, so this place is going to be nuts.
Although they should be a weeknight hub. They're just like Virginia Tech, Dub V, K-State. They have the wild card element at Texas Tech. That's perfect for weeknight, Thursday night viewing.
I'm going to say South Carolina should too.
Yeah. Oregon
But
State,
how about this Thursday night, guys? That's fire. Yeah,
no, it really is. And all 3 out of the FCS game we're not talking about. The other 3 are fire. TCU, Texas Tech, Patty C. This is one that honestly, I don't even know. I put TCU on my top 25 teams that we should be watching each week because I don't know what to expect. I think it's a big year because if they win the Big 12 again, then they kind of establish themselves, I think, as the team to beat in the Big 12 with their history with Patterson and then year 1 with Dykes. Then it kind of confirms that they're coach proof and this program is super, super good. So
you don't want to say last year was like fluky because look, they had, top draft picks in Quentin Johnston and Kendra Miller. They had Max Duggan, who, veteran quarterback, also drafted. I think 7th round or something. But I mean, they had talent on that team, but you wonder if it was a little bit of an outlier or if they can get like that level, or not necessarily even that level, but like I'm talking like 9-10 win seasons with consistency.
Well, someone's going to emerge out of this brand new Big 12. I know we still have Texas and Oklahoma this year, but I wonder if TCU has the leg up, or will they go back to being, kind of this like a good football team that's in the mix with everybody.
Well, this kind of happens. It may have happened with Gary Patterson. Obviously, we tried to get him on, but he wanted us to play his country music album on for half the episode.
And now he's with the Texas Longhorns. The invite is revoked. All right.
But there was a time when they had 6 top 10 finishes in a 10-year period, 3 out of those 6 while they were in the Big 12. So it's not like they got to the Big 12 and just, it was, they're done.
That's what I'm saying.
But the last 4 years of his tenure, they didn't manage more than 7 wins. So I think the country club environment may have sunk in, and then Sonny Dykes, of all people, comes in and reinvigorates them, a national championship appearance in year 1. Yeah, if they can keep this going, TCU may be back.
And Nick alluded to 5 of their past wins, TCU's beat them, but only 1 was in Lubbock. Only one was in Lubbock. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm looking. No, I'm reading this backwards. That was back in the 1920s. I'm sorry. 2 were in Lubbock. sorry. Anyway, yeah, I pulled this up and it was like sitting there and you're like, damn, TCU beat that. So the first 5 years, when they started playing in 26, TCU won all 5. Wow, but only one was in Lubbock in 1929, 22-0. I'm sure you guys remember that classic, that defensive performance by the Horned Frogs. Sammy Ball probably had an interception in that game. All right, let's jump on over. Pick Dundee here, and Pick Dundee gonna give you some winners here. Gonna give you some winners because you guys are sleeping on games. Man, there's those weekday games though. Gosh, they're tempting because they're fire. I think I got to. As much as I want to play a couple on Saturday, I think I got like the weekday slate is so good. I'm taking you Boston College, Syracuse. No, I'm joking. I'm taking you to no, but people would laugh 10 years ago if I told you this. Wake Forest at Duke.
There we go.
Some people would say what? But I think Wake Forest is going to be very good this year. I think Duke returns a lot, and they're I need to see it more, but I think Elko is a very good coach, and I think they'll win games they shouldn't. I don't know that Duke will contend for an ACC championship, but maybe. I think Wake is contenders for the ACC championship. So Wake Forest at Duke. How far are they apart? What is it, 30 miles?
It's a little bit more. It's more almost hour, 45 minutes.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So that's some serious time there. Either way, these are ACC schools that for some reason could get lost in the luster, and I don't want them to, damn it. All right. I like what Dave Clawson's doing at Wake. I like what Mike Elko's doing at Duke. I hope they continue winning. Patty C, what do you make of the Deeks against the Devils?
Well, it's an interesting spot for both teams. Wake Forest coming off hosting Florida State and what could be, a massive W if they pull that upset.
And they've had Florida State's number lately.
Yeah, let down Central here 5 days later on a Thursday night hosting Duke, or going to Duke. Is it
first time they played?
At
was
Duke.
At 1889, buddy. 1889, and Duke leads this all-time series 59-41. Remember, Duke was really dominant back in the day in college football, and then they got a little more dominant with Fred Goldsmith in '96. But Spurrier. Don't forget Spurrier.
Why isn't this the season-ending rivalry game? It doesn't make any sense.
Yes, I agree.
It's like you got North Carolina. North Carolina. You said this.
Yeah, I did a graphic on who the rivals should be. Yeah. Duke should play Wake the final game of the year every year. NC State should play North Carolina the final game of the season.
It's so obvious.
Well, last year, that's exactly what happened. And it was a fantastic game. Duke won 34-31. Riley Leonard threw for 390 and 4 touchdowns. For some reason, they switch it this year, and Duke closes with Pitt, which makes absolutely no sense. And Wake Forest closes with Syracuse. Why doesn't Pitt and Syracuse play?
Yeah, they're rivals,
right? Come on,
so ACC. So stupid. Hey, who is it? It's not Swafford. What's the guy's name now?
Phillips.
Yeah. Hey, Phillips.
Pull your head out
1-800 Pick Dundee. All right. Yeah, I love this game. This weekday games are awesome. This game's got to be played. Patty C, you're on the clock.
Well. I'm tempted to induce a little patriotic pride here, but I'm going to skip out on that, and I'm going to play a game. GBO Farms will make fun of me. This is a game that you guys will laugh at, right?
What's that?
You're going to laugh at it. They're all going to laugh at you. Nebraska going to Michigan State. Look, fuck you. Fuck you both. And look, these are two relevant teams still in college football. You can make it sound like they've both fallen off a cliff and they're never coming back, but these teams are right there.
It's a bad play.
A turnaround. No, I disagree.
Certainly.
Misfire.
No. See, I told you they would, but to your non-hipsters out there, to you just regular college football fans that aren't trying to prove how clever you are.
Nick,
this is a fun game.
I think he's got something actually. I just shit on it, but then I looked at the history. So
it can be played in the top 30, but not the top 10.
I'm just saying he might have something that I don't realize here. So the last time they played in 21 went to overtime, 23-20.
Yeah, they're evenly matched.
23-20 in that nice 11-win season for Michigan State. They beat a shitty Nebraska team by 3. Oh, I remember that game. Michigan State had no business winning that game, but they did. Then in 18, it was a 9-6 game, classic Big Ten West meets Big Ten East football game. Then in 2015, 39-38. These are classics. And then in 2014, 27-22. You've had 4 one-score games in a row. You got to go back to 13 to see when Michigan State won by 13.
Well, Patty's right. These teams are about equal because Michigan State was 5-7 and Nebraska was 4-8 last year.
Now go back 2 years. What was Michigan State's record?
That was fluky.
Yeah. Oh, it's fluky.
That really was
just
fluky.
Discount their
and Nebraska was what, 5-7 that year?
Probably like 3-8.
Yeah, but if they kicked 5 more field goals, they would have been 10-2. So, fucking look, fuck you. Nebraska, Michigan State. That's all I gotta say. I don't have to explain it. Just say the names and people.
My argument is fuck you.
That actually, I like that argument. That argument, in my opinion,
works a lot.
underrated part of an argument is the old fuck you. Yeah,
really underrated is when you bring somebody's mom into it.
You're fucking
GBR Farm says, do 2 shitty teams make a great game because it's close? Potentially. I mean, look, if you tell me that this is going to be a 1 possession game, which history is telling me, then I get a little more intrigued. All right. But yes, it's on a Saturday. Am I going to be, I thought he overstepped a little bit. I thought this probably gets played 16, 17, 18, maybe.
We got the number 24 versus number 34 team in the country on the talent composite rankings 24/7.
Oh, these talent composite rankings.
2 top 35 teams.
Where's Miami on that talent composite?
Yeah, where's
ranking?
Texas?
Top 10.
Oh, let me check the other teams on the talent composite. Oh, who's number 1? Oh, it's Alabama. Who's number 2? It's Georgia. Who's number 3? It's Ohio State. Who's number 5? It's Clemson. You might have seen some of these teams in the national championship winning them recently.
The national championship.
I guess these people have an idea of what.
You know who I didn't see was Michigan State, Nebraska.
I saw Nebraska, but it was a long time ago.
I hate you both. Look, fuck you. I want to watch it.
Okay, there we go. Nebraska, Michigan State, and then we're gonna shift over right here to side B here. So hang on for a second. All right, we are back on the college football experience, and we just Patty C just played Nebraska, Michigan State, and we poked the bear a little bit there. Said, hey, what the hell is that game? But hey, maybe
the old West Hollywood Bear.
But look,
you gotta grow some hair out for that.
Yeah, but I mean, Michigan State, they made the college football playoff and put up a nice goose egg, 10 years ago, whatever it was. And Nebraska, Matt Rule, it's a brand new day. Go listen to part 1 because we talked about the top 10 matchups and also UConn to the Big 12 and the SEC being cowards with an 8-game schedule. Go listen to it all; it's all there for you. All right, NC Nick, it jumps back to you.
Well, this is disgusting. I think I'm about to play back-to-back Big 12 games. The question is, so I do like some of these new versus old. The question is, do you go, very close regional should be an annual rivalry moving forward, or should you go complete contrast, other sides of the country, complete different cultures? It's a tough one. I guess I'll go. I'm a regional football type guy. I'll go Houston at Baylor. Only 3 hours apart or something. It should be a rivalry. It will be a rivalry moving forward as long as the Big 12 doesn't go to 20 teams and they play every 7 years, which sounds like it's going to happen. So I don't know.
That's true. They could go to 20 teams and do a 4-game schedule. 4-game conference schedule. Be fantastic.
These teams used to play pretty often, but they haven't played since '95. So I'm glad that's changing until it's ruined again. You
know what this is? This is the Bryles Bowl. Bryles coached at Houston. He coached at Baylor. This is the Bryles Bowl.
Hello.
All right.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Now, let me ask you guys if we can step out of turn and mention the other game. Would you go this one or would you go BYU at WVU?
BYU WVU because the fan bases.
Yeah.
You got Mormons against meth heads. Mormons against meth heads. Come on. Houston.
Or what do you got here? Houston. You got Paul Wall versus David Koresh. That's a kind of compelling matchup.
Who would win in a fight?
That's a great question. Give me the guy with the grill. Actually, Koresh had the AK-47.
So I'm saying. I think it actually be, I think it might be. I'd like to see some odds there.
That'd be a shootout.
Baylor leads this all-time series 14-13. 14-13, and there's one tie that's in there. Yeah, I still like it. I still think it should have been played somewhere around here, so I'll give you credit there. Shout out to Weehawk, who says my favorite Nebraska-Michigan State game, the Huskers 50, Michigan State 10. I remember this. Tom Osborne kicked Nick Saban's ass. I do. I remember watching. I remember where I was watching that game.
Trust that process.
At a bar?
No, I was like a 10-year-old, and you know, it was at our house. But anyway, yeah, I mean, Houston at Baylor, good play, but I'll play a better one. I'm taking you to Denver, Colorado, baby.
There you go.
Look, there's only, you know me,
Boulder, Colorado.
No. I don't like it.
Oh.
When there's, I don't like neutral site games unless the one asterisk I'll give it is if it's like the Red River Shootout or the world's biggest cocktail party or our armed forces, America. Yes, you get Army, Air Force, Denver, Colorado in the elements. They're not going to play this. Remember they tried this a couple years ago.
Jerry's World last year.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
That you know that destroys America.
That's what
but
I'm
you
saying.
play this in a legendary stadium like Mile High, then it is beautiful.
Yes, Army, Air Force. I know Nick hates this game. I don't care. Air Force, just like your little Duke Blue Devils. Duke was 16 points away from an undefeated season. Air Force was 15. All right. The Air Force Falcons of Troy Calhoun are rolling. Army's running out of the shotgun. I will vomit at least twice this game. Even heard some rumblings that Air Force might be doing some stuff out of the gun as well. What do you make of this one, Nick? I know you're going to shit on this one.
Well, thank God it's not top 10. I think this is number 11, right? Which is still way too high if you ask me. The game doesn't belong to be playing the top 30, yes, but I would say no earlier than 20s, especially on a Saturday with all these loaded games. It's going to be hard to find time to tune into this one.
You're crazy. The fan bases, even in a pro stadium, they'll show up and this place will be fucking rocking, right? And these have been good games lately, man. This was a 1-score game. Like this is America at its finest, and Air Force has kind of been dominating this rivalry, by the way. But last season, 13-7, 6-point game. Go back to 21 overtime, 21-14. Go back to 20, 10-7. Go back to 19, 13-17. I mean, since 2008, well, really since 2017, every game's been close. So that's what you're getting. Patty C, what do you make of America?
I think America's great again because of this game. Look, a little shocker here. Air Force, Johnny coming lately. What, do they start their program in the 60s? Or
I think 58 or 60 or something. Yeah, right around
like
there.
you mentioned, 38-18 all-time lead on Army. I double checked against Navy, 33-22 lead. They are America's team.
2 national championships.
Army better prove that they can deal with the triple option a year after, or else it's going to be an embarrassment. This is Air Force telling Army they fucked up by changing the triple option, and I hope they do it in fantastic fashion. Ooh. I'm rooting for Air Force.
Rooting for Air Force. All right, NC Nick, you hated that one. Let's see what Patty C does.
Well, there's a game that has some personal flavor and importance to me.
Kent State Akron?
No, and it is in a new conference, but let's go there. Fuck it. Sometimes you got to do what's important for you, right?
Is that what your therapist is telling you?
That's right. Fuck everyone else.
Focus on yourself, Patty C.
Put yourself first.
Take the game you like.
The problem
Pat.
has been is you haven't been putting yourself first.
That's right. I go into therapy at Wednesday night after we do this podcast. They're like, I wanted to pick this game, but they made fun of me. Well, I'm picking it, you motherfuckers. UCF travels to Nippers.
I think you put yourself first when you did those 12 Jaeger bombs on Saturday.
You know, I always thought you were more of a taker than a giver anyway.
Sometimes when I'm in West Hollywood, yes. Look, we're going to Nippert Stadium. The Golden Knights of Central Florida travel to the Bearcats of Cincinnati in a Big 12 matchup. You know, is this the first former American versus American Big 12 matchup, or have we had that yet?
No, I think this will be the first, right?
This is the first. I
think it's
don't
the
know. I'd have
first.
to double check that. But kind of fun. Same thing, new conference. And could it mean something? I think everyone is sleeping on these teams saying they can't compete. They're now playing big boy football. But what happened when TCU did it?
When you say everyone, NC Nick, you're
NC
saying.
Nick.
Yeah.
NC Nick is everyone here.
What happened when TCU and Utah, huh? They both came up quick.
Yeah.
In their
And
conferences.
maybe both of these teams are relevant and playing for something here. And what something is a Big 12 championship berth.
There you go. Nick, your thoughts on UCF Cincinnati, the rich history in
It's
the
a solid
AAC?
game. It is my third game of the new Big 12 teams, though. I liked Houston Baylor better, and I agree with Colby that BYU WVU is also better. But look, it did develop into a fun little rivalry in the AAC. The series is split 4-4. I still wonder if that rivalry crosses over now, because the fact that it was a rivalry because they were probably the two best teams in the AAC for a decent stretch there. I think that rivalry kind of gets lost a little bit in the Big 12 would be my guess. So we'll see. Maybe they can keep on coming up with good games, and maybe the teams will be better than we think. I think
that makes them, ideal rivals for the Big 12. They need a rival within the conference.
It's no civil conflict.
It's no civil conflict, but we don't have that one yet. When that one happens, obviously that takes the iron.
We're going to the civil conflict.
But you can't manufacture rivalries. They have to be meaningful. The fans have to hate
what
each
is
other.
more organic than traveling from one conference as a rival to another conference and having no one else, and now you just left with each other? That's
I'm curious.
You got Houston. They got Houston.
That's like taking a girl across country. Right. And dating her in a new location. You only know each other. You're going to get really close that way. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, people.
You take a girl to Sturgis?
Take the girl to Sturgis.
Don't you know, what's the old saying? Never bring sand to the beach.
That's true.
Never bring meth to Sturgis.
What'd you do? What'd you do in Sturgis?
Meth in Sturgis.
Did you get that buffalo chip? Don't they call it that or something?
A buffalo chip?
Isn't there something about that in Sturgis? Am I talking out of my ass right now?
I don't know.
Can you Google buffalo chip Sturgis, please?
I will.
If you want to know about Biker Week, either one in Myrtle Beach, I got you. I can't talk much about Sturgis.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. We'll get there one day.
Legendary Sturgis buffalo chip. Whatever it is, it's legendary.
So, hey, look, I'm just a man of knowledge. All right.
You're a man of white trash knowledge. Let's be honest.
Oh man, if you're not boiling your Mountain Dew, what are you doing? All right. Look, folks. All right. UCF Cincinnati 4-4 all time. I like it. Let me move along here. We're going back to the weekdays because Nick's on the clock. What am I doing?
I thought about that one. I'll save it for you. Miami, NC State. Say what you want about Miami, but it's still cool and fun when they come to town. And, Miami's actually won 4 in a row in the series, which is a little surprising because I think NC State's been the better program the last 10 years.
Yeah, not to me.
But, dude, the last 2 games, 31-30 in 2021 and 44-41 in Raleigh in 2020.
Whew.
These games have been very close, very exciting, and I'm looking forward to this one.
Any chance you're going to be at this one?
Possible.
All right.
It's always
All right.
possible.
The Wolfpack and the Hurricanes, Patty C.
It's absolutely shameful that this isn't like a regular marquee game. Obviously,
Well, because they were in the Coastal and the Atlantic. They play once every 30
6 years or so. But
they played in 2020 and 2021 somehow.
Well, 20 because they had the 10-game COVID schedule.
Yeah.
I guess they had 2 cross division games. So with a 12, that would be like once every 3 years that they would play. So, or 3 or 4 years. That's still not that frequent, but the NC State probably, I guess North Carolina with the Jordan stuff has the potential to be the biggest program in the state of North Carolina, but their supposed academic restrictions. NC State is much more the football factory kind of build of a school, which means
better fans too.
Better fans, you would think, like NC State.
Miami, of course.
Well,
I was going to say of UNC.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is NC State could be North Carolina's team and should be a pretty damn good team, better than they are. And meanwhile,
I'm sorry.
I hear there's rumors on the internets.
I'm sorry. Did you mention something about
Miami.
North Carolina's team?
Well, they have fucked it. That's true. ECU is definitely North Carolina's team. Sorry, Nick. But whatever. This game should be better than it is. All that talk to say that.
True. Brennan Armstrong proves once again he's better than Van Dyke. State wins this one. I'm in red. I'm wearing State colors. It's disgusting, but it does say run the ball, which Robert and I's never heard of.
He always has running quarterbacks.
Yeah, they just don't run forward and for running yard. I mean, I guess Brennan Armstrong ran for a little bit.
So did the Shredder.
That's true. That's because the Shredder couldn't throw the ball.
What are you talking about?
But he runs the air raid. He's a leech guy.
Brennan Armstrong's going to go off on Miami. Do we have what's his record against Miami at this point? Do we know? Obviously,
I know he won in Miami 2 years ago.
They lost last year in overtime against
Miami.
In
7 overtime.
In
so he's 1-1.
Okay.
There you go, folks. All right, look, before we get to my next pick, I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by Edge Boost. Yes, Edge Boost is the world's first bet now, pay later Visa card. Edge currently offers up to $2,500 in betting advances, which can be an extremely valuable tool. Imagine what you could do with an increased bankroll. Get down on some of your favorite futures, perhaps. Double down on a favorite bet you like, or maybe create a middle or hedge. Ugh, disgusting. But Edge Boost, they're not some sleazy loan shark. They're not going to charge you any interest. Do you know a way you can access more money to place bets on your favorite teams, favorite bets without paying any interest? Because I don't. Besides Edge Boost, Edge Boost can be a part of a responsible gambling plan to set up daily, weekly, monthly payments. It's safe. It's a good way to do it. So support SGPN and grow your bankroll by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge to sign up. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge. Must be 21 years older. Probably gambling. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, we are back on the college football experience. It is my pick. Getting sick of these clowns. And what did I do with my draft music? This thing's always.
You can't win.
Here we go. All right, I will take you to the weekday game because I thought NC Nick was a Sunbelt guy. Well, I mean, I know GBO Farms is mentioning Sunbelt teams. You know what? I will pivot. GBO Farms is right. As much as it's a weekday game in South Alabama at Troy, had 23 combined wins, I think, a season ago. I think there's a game out there that is more interesting because I've said these teams should be playing. I actually think they should. No, I don't know. I guess Georgia Southern, but if there's a secondary rival, Marshall, Appalachian State, it's just good. They're both mountain towns, or I don't know if Marshall's technically in the mountains, but yeah.
The entirety of West Virginia is in the
but
mountains.
it's just like this is Sunbelt football. When they got Marshall, I was like, this is perfect. Marshall at Appalachian State. I think GBO Farms is 100% right on this one. I love this matchup, guys. There's something about this matchup that I find super cool.
Fantastic game. You talk about uniform porn, that green up against App State's classic black and yellow uniforms.
You know what it is, though? I think it's that they were both nasty in the FCS too, and they came up to the FBS and they were both killing it. Right. In the they didn't miss a beat when they joined the FBS. And
App State will have revenge on their mind, losing by 7 at Marshall last year. So I love the fact that this is an annual game, and it is my top Sunbelt game of the week.
This is fantastic. Well, it's just a great game.
People can't see Colby's shirt right now, but it says "Run the damn ball." And that is what will be happening in this game because, as we know, App State finds running backs like
Yeah.
like hairs on their
They
ass.
still got Nate Noel, I think.
Yo, do they?
Yeah.
He's a beast. They had 3 excellent running backs last year. Obviously, Marshall had 2. So, and
this is called the old Mountain Feud. It is a real rivalry.
the old
Beautiful.
Mountain Feud.
The old
Yeah.
Mountain
This
Feud.
is
It's like Hatfield and McCoys.
Hello.
And this all, I mean, I'm curious. So they, man, so but the first meeting was in 1977, but since then, so App State started out 4-0, and currently they lead the series 15-10. But Marshall, don't look now, has won 4 of 5. NC Nick, 4 of 5.
Put an end to that this year.
I love this game.
Where is more, sister hooking up with going on? Marshall or
I would say Marshall.
I'd say Marshall.
Yeah.
I mean, Boone at least is pretty close to like Charlotte and Raleigh, and it's not too far away. Marshall, maybe not so much.
It's out in the boons.
No, I think this game's fantastic. I gotta have it. And all right, Patty C, it jumps to you, buddy.
Well. Look, hipster hour is over. I'm taking you to primetime SEC country. I'm taking you to 2 of the bigger coaching names in college football, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. Jimbo Fisher travels to Oxford, Mississippi to take on Lane Kiffin. The Aggies versus the Rebels.
I had Texas A&M as my number 3 team.
Most compelling team to watch.
If you go at TCE on SGPN on Twitter, folks, just because of the fireworks and the coaching staff and the fact that each game, I think, is pressure for him this year. So I know I said that Ole Miss is boring because I believe they are, but this game will be compelling because of what Texas A&M's got going on. Nick, your thoughts?
Yeah, I like it. Well played, Patty. It's much better than Nebraska at Michigan State. This game does probably belong to be. I mean, come on, this is SEC West football with a shit ton of talent on the field, interesting coaches. Could be a very good game. We are probably playing this a little too late. Should have been played 4 or 5 spots earlier.
I went to this game last year though, and let me tell you, the score was a little deceiving. It says 31-28, but no. Ole Miss was dominating this football game the whole game. They have won. Ole Miss has won 2 in a row. And what's crazy is they are 3-9 all time. So they were 1-9 against Texas A&M until the past 2 years. Where Lane Kiffin. It's easy to see it was rolling, turn.
Baby. Chugga.
Yes. Wow. Are you a bit surprised by those numbers, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, definitely for sure. But this is a new year, and A&M, they could be 10-2, or they could be 4-8. And that's why they were so high on your list of must-watch teams every week, and that's why this game is pretty high on my list too.
And you see, Ole Miss just landed Zachary Franklin from the wide receiver from UTSA.
UTSA.
That was a huge get, absolutely huge get. Patty C, well played. I think it was. Yeah, I do think it was probably better than Nebraska, Michigan State. I think. Yeah.
Well, I agree to disagree because you know why? Let me tell you what. This game just.
How about those backhanded compliments? Like, great, yeah, Patty C, great play. It's much better than your last one.
Your shitty other play.
I wasn't gonna talk shit until I looked over him. I saw that UVA hat. I go, I don't like this guy. Let me just talk some shit to this guy.
You know why he doesn't like it? Go listen to the college baseball experience where he had to explain to the fans that UVA swept ECU in the regionals.
There we go.
Sorry, Colby.
Well, it's because
you know who's doing pretty good in college baseball? These boys right here.
Oh. Well, look,
you're gonna dance with the devil, baby.
See, but Duke's gonna go to Charlottesville and be fine. ECU went to Charlottesville and that's like a fish out of water. You're like, wait, you guys don't have any dive bars here? You guys don't do Jaeger bombs? So that's why we lost. All right. Yeah. That's why we lost.
Lacrosse teams are going to have parties with strippers. It's going to get crazy.
We went into the sports bars of Charlottesville and realized they don't put sports on television. and it was weird. They were lighting their tiki torch and it's confusing. So anyway, all right. NC Nick, it jumps back to you.
Well, quickly to answer Weehawk's question in the chat, you guys probably heard of all this smoke going through the East Coast, right? There's some big ass forest fires in Canada that have come all the way down throughout the whole East Coast.
It's not the Smoky Mountains?
Yeah, no. The
Hello.
Smoky Mountains have been a little bit more smokier though. But yeah, Weehawk. It was kind of bad earlier this morning, but the rain kind of killed it. So I think we're good.
I saw they canceled MLB games and WNBA games, which is pretty.
Yeah, thank
God.
Did you see pictures of?
Thought they played indoors.
That's weird. Did you see pictures of New York City? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it looks.
It looked like LA.
Yeah, right. LA on a normal day.
No. I didn't see that much homeless. I was like, no, sort of LA, but a little clean. Right? A little too
missing
clean.
the shit on the street.
All right. Yeah. Go.
Sorry.
All right. Well, I mentioned this game a long time ago, and I thought you guys were going to mention it. You have the Mormons versus Mountain Meth. You got BYU at West Virginia. It is a beautiful contrast.
I hope this develops into, if you ask me, like, what we lose, Bedlam, what do you want as your new big time Big 12 rivalry? This
Is it
right
more
here.
fun though? Is it more fun when the West Virginia fans go to Provo? Probably.
Yes.
Or is it like the BYU fans being like shocked and appalled in Morgantown?
I think them going to Morgantown is a lot more fun.
It's perfect though, because I mean, when they're
getting pelted with batteries, how are their Mormon asses going to respond to that?
Excuse me.
But no. At the same time, when they go to Provo, they're gonna have to be doing what? They're gonna be like, you guys don't get fucked up here. What are they gonna be doing? Whippets in the parking lot, right? I mean, it's
as far as culture clashes, you probably can't come up with a bigger one in all of college football, let alone an annual game.
Yeah. Oh, it's perfect. I'm telling you, your mark. Give me a call. 1-800 pick Dundee. This should be. Until you get Pittsburgh in the Big 12, I want this as the season ender. All right, this until either if Utah joins, then do the Holy War. All right.
Is there any soaking in Morgantown?
Oh my gosh, there's a different type of soaking.
Soaking is a crime in Morgantown.
Yeah. With embalming fluid. All right, that's what I think the soaking is in Morgantown.
You're telling me you're not thrusting? That's a misdemeanor, sir.
That's right. You get in there and get that done. Better not be wearing a condom either.
Oh man, have they ever played? I'm curious. Have they ever played? Let me check this out.
Yes, one time, and it was in Morgantown. It was a 35-32 game in 2016.
Oh man, there you go.
Competitive football on top of it. Hey, it does make this game fun.
Sign me up. I cannot wait for this. GBO Farm says they got some pretty mouse in that BYU team. Oh man. Yeah. I mean, this game, please, universe.
The after party every Sunday after this game is going to look like what's that Burt Reynolds movie from back in the day? Deliverance. Okay. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of deliverance situations going on there. Okay,
I'm glad you said that, because I was just like, I was like, the longest yard. I was like, which one are you going with here?
Smokey and the Bandit?
Showgirls. Okay. NC Nick, we've had a recent run on mountain football. 2 of the last 3 games. Should we keep it there?
Keep it going. Friday night.
I do see that Friday night one. It is appealing, but I see one. It's easy to see a tide turn. All right. And sometimes you got to know when that tide is about to crash. All right. You had a nice little Green Wave story. You beat USC. I'm a Willie Fritz guy at heart, but not when he comes into Greenville, North Carolina. Tulane at East Carolina. Come on, guys. This goes back to the CUSA. All right. This is one. New Orleans, Greenville. There are a lot of similarities there. A lot of similarities there. I've been to New Orleans countless times. Don't remember much. I was at East Carolina for years. Don't remember much.
So if Manhattan is the Little Apple, Manhattan, Kansas, is Greenville the Little Easy?
A little easy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A little easy right there. Let's
go. Their women are easy.
Oh,
they're a lot easy. Let's be honest.
Talking about Sandra Bullock like that, Nick? All right. Anyways, look, this is a fun little rivalry. It's a fun little rivalry. ECU, of course, leads at 12-7, but They did lose last year in New Orleans, but guess what happened when Fritz and company came into Greenville in 2021? They got beat down by 33 points.
Ooh.
These two coaches actually
Good coaches.
Fritz and Houston actually, it goes back to the FCS days. They've known each other for a long time. And so sign
It
me
is
up.
a strange. I don't know. Maybe it's that, but I wouldn't even known that necessarily. It's something about their styles that seems like a good contrast and a good matchup. Houston versus Fritz.
Mike Houston. So, Willie Fritz. Yeah, it goes back to, I feel like they've played a lot. Might even be the high school days too.
I just respect both of them as coaches. I think they're both underrated coaches. I think they both could lead a Power 5 program to the, I mean, obviously, both have kind of already done it. I mean, Mike Houston, let's reiterate this, won a national championship, James Madison.
I think Fritz did too, Georgia Southern.
Georgia
right?
Southern.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
NC Nick, what do you make of this one?
Yeah. By the way, the last time Colby and I were in the Little Easy, if that's what we're calling it now, Colby was talking to a girl at a bar, and her friend came over and said, "Why are you talking to this old guy?"
Well, I also had because I forgot my ECU shirt, so I quickly bought a green a purple T-shirt and spray painted ECU on it. so I'm sure that might have had something to do with it. Like, why are you talking to this guy? And I was like, ECU baby, let's go.
I'm sitting there as Colby's older brother. I'm like, well, shit. If Colby's old, what does that make me?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that long ago. All right, maybe a little bit. Might have been some photos of me passed out in the bushes.
Keith Landry, he says, was that the night he became Mulch Dundee?
that did happen at ECU, but that was not. No. The original Mulch story was actually like 20 years ago, like 22 years ago. But that was another Mulch trip. That was definitely. I did take a nap. Dude, that was we were there for Virginia Tech game, and we the sun beat our ass that way.
It was week one. It was week one. It was brutally hot, man.
So afterwards, played some beer pong, decided to take a little nap in the grass and the mulch. Done that a couple times.
Was that the game that Nick bought a pizza and carried it like a suitcase?
No, that was a Thursday night. That was a Thursday nighter. Yeah, that was a classic. But anyway, the Little Easy, great place to go.
Yeah, so great game. I mean, look, a big game in Greenville is fun because ECU's always chippy at home in big games, so I like it.
The Green Wave coming to Greenville.
There you go.
I'm dying in this fucking country ass fucked up town.
That's what Willie Fritz is going to be saying. Anyway, all right, let's jump back.
I think tide turning. As I remember, I was raised in the desert, but tides kind of it's easy to see a tide turn. Did I say those words?
All right, Patty. So you're on the clock. Where are you taking us?
Well, this is such a deep week that something like the number one or two, probably number two, football conference in America having a rematch of the conference championship game goes all the way down to number 18 on our list. I'm taking you to the Big House where the Purdue Boilermakers visit the Michigan Wolverines.
These Big Ten plays he keeps dealing out, Nick.
I thought he was about to say Boise at Fresno with a rematch of the championship game. I was about to say, good job, Patty.
Well, this is a bad play. I mean, yes, Michigan did.
It's not. I mean, it's
43-22.
I'm just not excited for it.
If it was at Purdue, I would be a lot more excited.
Yeah. But Illinois played Michigan in the Big House tough last year, so maybe.
And Ryan Walters was the defensive coordinator on that staff. Now he's the head coach in West Lafayette.
Okay, so the more we're talking it up here, maybe it's a good call.
I like it.
Michigan, their style in late November is now better than, is prone to beat Ohio State, is designed to beat Ohio State. But against all other teams, Ohio State blows the doors off of teams with their speed and their throwing ability. Michigan is prone to close matchups because they're a ground and pound and defensive team in any sport that's going to give you close games. And a guy like Walters is ready for that kind of matchup. Purdue, all of a sudden.
Do you know what this game is?
What's that?
The Grease Bowl.
The Grease Bowl.
You know why it's the Grease Bowl?
Why is that?
Bob Greasy went to Purdue. His son, turncoat bastard, went to Michigan. All right.
Wow. We're really pulling out all the angles.
The Grease Bowl, baby.
Grease Bowl. Yeah, I like just calling it the Grease Bowl. We got to just make it simple. The Grease Bowl. All right.
One syllable. Yeah,
Grease lightning.
Those people at ECU, once you go over one syllable, it's hit or miss.
Syllable, is that D3 school we played in college baseball this year? Anyway, yeah, Purdue, Michigan. I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and say should have been further back. Should have been in the 20s. So shout out to Keith Landry, says the key to the fountain of youth equals whiskey on the rocks and Hulk Hogan's theme song. That is true. But my problem is I haven't been able to play it in a couple months since those bastards came for me. All right.
Yeah. Putin came for you.
Yeah. But I made one Rocky IV reference flagged, and then the next week I play that. Boom, I'm gone. All right.
You're banned in fucking Russia.
All I'm saying, Dolph could have done better than that gigantic short-haired girl. All right.
Yeah. You know, that
he was the man of the country
in the 80s. If you were a long-haired man, you were the bad guy, and if you had a short-haired girl, you were the bad guy. Probably how it should be. We should reinstate those rules today.
Yeah,
you know, based on what's going on out here in West Hollywood.
Oh, okay. Look, and that's our analysis of Purdue and Michigan. So, the Grease Bowl. NC Naked jumps to you. Where are you going?
All right, back to Thursday night. It's a game Colby was close to playing. It's a great game. The only problem is it comes third fiddle on a Thursday night with other two great games. But it is South Alabama at Troy. This game was a Thursday night.
Nick.
No, Nick.
What did you say? What did he say? Did
South Alabama Troy.
Oh no, but I thought he said. Oh, you're saying Sunbelt Nick.
And Sunbelt Nick is back.
Okay, I thought you were correcting him like he said CUSA. Okay,
no.
Okay, I'm just a fucking idiot. Which that's normal.
True. But it was a great game last year. It was also a Thursday night game last year that Troy won 10-6, which really decided the Sunbelt West. So
here's what I don't get. Troy beat South Alabama 10-6 and beat Army 10-9, and I love those games. Nick loves the Sun Belt, but yet if that happens in the Big Ten, he hates it. Iowa plays the same scores, and he thinks that's the worst thing that ever happened to football. But if it happens in the Sun Belt, he's like, "God damn, it was a great game." Did you guys catch Troy's offense?
He's regional. He's Southern.
Yeah.
What did I say before? The South is football.
Iowa is football, buddy. All right. Not that Field of Dream shit. They don't even have a baseball team. All right. Iowa State doesn't even have a baseball team. South Alabama Troy is good though, man. This is a great game. I'm curious what the rivalry is here. I think I have it pulled up. They call this the battle for the belt. All right. Here I thought all those years
like wrestling.
All these years I thought it was Ric Flair against Hogan, but turns out the battle for the belt's going on. And Troy leads us
in this matchup. Who's Ric Flair? Who's Hogan? I don't know.
Hogan is Troy.
It's generous to give either one of them that title.
Yeah, that is very true. Yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like who would be Ric Flair of college football?
ECU.
Lane Kiffin is he's a little Ric Flairish.
Hey, he's a wannabe. He's like one of the four horsemen. You know, he's like
Arn Anderson.
Yeah, he's Arn Anderson. Yeah. But anyway, this series, Troy leads it all the time, 8-3. 8-3, and they're on a 5-game win streak right now. But like you alluded to, both these teams were great last year, and I love this thing developing. Patty C, your thoughts?
Sure. I mean, what was South Alabama 10-3? What was Troy's record last year? They were 12-2. I mean, in terms of quality football. Now, I will say this. JMU did finish first, should have played in the Sun Belt Championship game. So I just want to crowbar that in here. But
should have been at Bridgeforth Connect, right?
That's right. Wait, is JMU? I'm not sure if they're allowed to play. They're still not allowed to play in the Sun Belt Championship game.
A bunch of pieces of
fucking
shit.
Assholes. Yeah. So this may be a preview of the Sun Belt Championship this year because JMU, who should be in the playoff, is left out. Okay. Anyway, moving on.
No, great game though. I'm excited.
I just don't know why Keith Landry is saying Sam Pittman's a crossdresser.
Yeah.
Wasn't Dusty Rhodes Gold Dust too?
No, I don't think.
No, I'm pretty sure
he looked like him. It might have been his son. That's a family business there, the WWF. Let's be honest. But
so you're saying East Carolina's the Ric Flair?
Maybe. Potentially.
Of college football?
I think ECU isn't that good as Ric Flair, but I think they have maybe the most similar, vibe.
I'm about to.
All right, so it was his son. All right, so I was pretty damn close. All right, same family. Yeah, different.
Yeah, okay.
Different eras.
Look, Dusty Rhodes, Gold Dust. I see what they did there. Dusty Rhodes is the All-American, and the American Dream, as it were. And Sam Pittman, that is a great comparison, Keith Landry. Sam Pittman is Dusty Rhodes. I remember watching a clip back on
Bobby Petrino's Jimmy Hart.
Yo, that's good. That's good. With the road rash face, he's all red in the face like that. That's fucking great.
Let's go.
Dusty Rhodes once said he was a meat farmer back in the day. Apparently, he's a you can't beat my prices, but you can't beat my meat, and that stuck with me as a kid. Repeated that at the dinner table at age 9, and my mom was
you repeated
very
that
mad.
at the bar this past weekend. And they said, what are you talking about? You said, you know what I'm talking about. Meet me in the 6-sided ring of fire, baby. All right, look, next up is me. I'm going to taking you to Fresno, California. All right. I love this game. I love this matchup. And like I said, I hope if people talk about, the Power 5 splitting away, man, Boise State and Fresno State are good programs. They deserve to be part of that collective. They've been good for so long. So long. You can go back to like the 80s and Fresno State was nasty. Boise obviously hasn't had a losing season. Honestly, I think since Jinko jeans were popular. You know what I mean? Like I think it was like 1997.
It's been a while.
Man, those wide leg jeans, they were fire there.
James Harden's bringing them back.
Anybody that wore those back in the day, you could buy weed off of.
True.
And probably more than that if you wanted it.
Yeah, especially in Fresno. Boise State, Fresno State, guys. This is developing into an awesome rivalry. All right, and it's funny. Sometimes people say California doesn't have football, doesn't have college football, and they say they see the UCLA games, the Stanford games. They see no one there. Fresno is the heart of college football in California.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think they're the only team in California that has real culture.
Yeah.
Because USC, when they got bad, I was at the Stanford game.
We went to the Leach game, right?
It was empty. It was a snooze fest. The crowd was asleep. I don't feel like that really ever happens in Fresno.
It doesn't happen in the Valley. Now, Boise does lead this all-time series 17-8, which is crazy because they first played in 1977. But Boise's got the best of them. They won 4 of 6, but Fresno beat them last year in the Mountain West Championship, and Tedford beat them in 18 in the Mountain West Championship, and that both were on the Smurf turf. Wow.
And Boise beat them in 17
in the championship, right?
In the championship, and they played.
It's a great rivalry
in 2014 in the championship.
That's what I'm saying. It's a great rivalry.
Yeah.
This is these two. Big 12, pick them up.
What, 4?
Big 12's grabbing everybody. Fuck it, pick them up. All right, let's go. Shout out to D. Bettis. He says he's in this bitch, and he also says the Pac-12 sucks. That's why if they wanted to improve their football, they would grab Boise and Fresno because they're very good. Keith Landry says the world will know Talon Green this year. Curious, who do you guys think wins this one?
I like Boise better this year, but in Fresno's tough, man, and Fresno's done fairly well against Boise lately. It might lean the home team.
Do you know what this trophy is for? The milk can, baby. Let's go.
Yeah,
well, that takes it down a notch or two.
The milk can.
It's created in 2005. Well,
it's a great game, but I mean, this is it's a weekday game, man. Put it Friday night.
Yeah,
this game Friday night would be fire.
Yes.
But dude, this is like the equivalent of like Marshall App. I know you have that over there on the East. This is like it on the West.
It's a great game
in terms of culture, but in terms of like actual relevance to the college football world. I mean, obviously Mountain West, not Power 5, but right there, arguably as good as the AAC over the past decade. And you have 6 of the last 10 champions are playing in this game. And then 4 runners up are playing in this game. These are the 2 premier teams in the Mountain West playing against each other.
No one wants to play these teams.
Yeah.
No good program wants to play these teams.
Yeah. I guess you can say San Diego State, the other one.
Yeah. So, all right. Patty C.
Well, I feel like I'm going to steal it from right out under your nose. So I'm going to leave it for you, Colby, even though I think it is the best game out there.
Just play
I'm not going to play it. I'm leaving it for you. And I am looking at a game. I'm looking at a couple games here. I bet you got a couple games you want to play.
I love the slate right now.
This is a deep ass slate. Let's go to not Corvallis. Let's go to Eugene. Let's go to Eugene.
What's it? Oh, Cal, Oregon with the Wilcox battle. Remember, he turned down his alma mater, the Oregon Ducks, to stay at Cal. I know John Madden used to teach football classes at Cal. That's the only thing that has me hanging on to my hopes of Cal finding the right way.
Yeah. Anytime you got a border battle with two state flagship programs going at it,
Patty C loves his border battle.
I don't care if California isn't carrying their weight as a marquee program. Oregon certainly is, and Cal is going to get back there at some point. I don't know.
Nick, what do you make of Cal, Oregon?
I mean, the last time Cal won in Eugene, it was 2007.
Yeah, but they should have won though. Was it 19?
2021, they lost 24-17.
There was one that was like 10-3.
One.
I feel like
17-7 and 19.
Yeah, that one they were up 7-3 at half, and they had their backup quarterback Monster.
Yeah.
And if they just didn't run an offensive play, Cal would win that game. Their defense shut them down. He throws 2 interceptions, which leads to the 10 points. One was a pick 6, I think. They should have beaten Oregon that day.
I think that's the game that Colby started to doubt Justin Herbert as a quarterback.
That's true. I think Wilcox had that dialed up. So yeah, there is that. But how about the all-time series though, Nick? 42-41 in Cal's favor. What's up, Ducks?
It's 12-2 Ducks in the last 14.
Yeah, but hey, he turned down Oregon. He used
that
to play
that is an interesting angle. Other than that, I didn't have this on my top 30, to be honest.
Really? No, I have it in my top 30, but I had a couple over it. But yeah, Patty C.
I see a lot that are of similar quality. So I saw one that kind of jumped off. You know, Nick, you're not a West Coast guy. Well, you know, I've been out here for a while. It appeals to me.
You dropped
fly
acid.
that flag, Patty.
I'm gonna fly that flag.
You dropped acid in Berkeley?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, I dropped acid in a lot of places.
All right, next up. NC Nick on the clock.
I think the better Pac-12 game is one of the teams that, well, actually, Colby had both these teams on his list of the top 25 must-watch teams every week, and it is Oregon State at Colorado.
Yes. This game's being played too late. All right, this one should have been played earlier. My apologies. This game,
You're the Buffalo fan too. What's up?
Last time they played was a classic too, man. It was a classic. Remember Oregon nailed like a 65-yard field goal to send it to overtime, or Oregon State did. It was in Boulder because that altitude, it worked out. But yeah, I mean, obviously I find Oregon State to be, I don't think people realize how good they were last year. And now you add in a quarterback that, was a 5-star recruit. He can't even last year with how bad he was, he's still way better than the lawn chairs that Oregon State had.
Yeah. Who was the guy before Branson or whatever?
Yeah, Branson, and they had another stiff. They were just
the guy Happy Feet was the guy before Branson. They were really bad. It was.
Where's our guy? Who's our big Oregon State fan again?
Man, you're putting me on the spot right now.
What does matter?
I know the name.
Apparently he's not
Dryden.
There you go.
But this series all time is even 6-6, and I guess we did last time we played. We did get our ass whooped, but the last time in Boulder was 37-34. Actually, 2 of the last 3 games were overtime games. 3 of the last 4 one-score games. Let's go. Can Deion get the best of Jonathan Smith, who I think is one of the most underrated coaches in America?
Possibly. Let me ask you that, Nick. Let's put Colby on blast here. Is it ridiculous for Colby to say Colorado is the most must-watch team in college football this year?
They were the most watched spring game.
I don't think so, because I think they're my top 5 also. I mean, I think must watch. I mean, it depends on what your definition of that is. Like, you're not going to have Georgia or Alabama as must watch.
Yeah, because we know what we're getting. Like,
yeah,
some people would. People that want to watch championship football must watch that.
I mean, it's your definition.
I don't think so. Yeah.
I think I understand what Colby's getting at was that he's very interested in these teams this year for a certain reason. Not to say you're not interested in Georgia, Alabama, but you do kind of know what you're going to get. And they are.
Yeah. Had
Deion
gone to Oregon State or Iowa State or wherever, I think, and then all those transfers happened.
Yeah.
And those coaching hires that he had, I think they would still be number 1. And I think that's just because you're just like, we've never seen this in the history of college football where he told the whole team to leave. Right. And so it's like, wow, is this going to work out? Is this going to, even if they lose, if they go 0-12, even on that 10th, 11th game, you're going to be wanting to watch to see if he goes winless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
come on, Coach Prime walking around with the cowboy hat on. I mean, who doesn't want to watch that?
I'll be dialed in.
I think everybody though. I mean, the spring game speaks for itself. I know ESPN was the only one to put that spring game on ESPN. The Georgia game was on ESPN2 and stuff, but it was the most watched spring game.
I'll tell you what, if they're 3-9 at a certain point in the season, I'm not going to be watching.
I don't know that that's true. I think people, the more he loses, the more they'll want to watch.
Okay. There's got to be a perfect amount where it's less interesting. Obviously they lose a lot. They win a lot. Either way though, I do agree that Colorado is a compelling team. And I think that your list has a little bit of nuance to it. I think people looking at the list, I saw some people clapping at you online.
Well, there was South Carolina they were saying should be on there. And look, I actually think South Carolina maybe should have been on there at like 24 or 25.
They're kind of interesting.
Well, no, just because the way they ended the season last year. Yeah. But some of the other ones
transferring out.
yeah, it's true. So, some of the other ones though, like no, this is about like what you want to watch. Like as far as we know, Georgia's good.
Yeah,
right. We know. I didn't put USC on there because we know they're really good.
But I guess in their defense, that you didn't really define that, so people can take it whatever direction they want to as must watch or so.
Well, how do you define it on a fucking graphic? You know what I mean?
I'm not saying I know, but that's why it's kind of an open-ended thing, and it's very subjective.
Yeah. So, but if they see Colorado number 1, they should get that. They should get that.
Well, let me tell you about this game. Even though Colorado itself isn't a flashy program, Deion is probably the flashiest coach that has ever landed in college football. And Oregon State is about as unflashy as it gets. So contrast of styles here.
No, it's great. It's great.
Last year DJU did some local Bojangles commercials. What's the Bojangles in Corvallis?
That I don't know.
I don't think they do fried chicken. I think meat is illegal in Corvallis.
Well, I don't know. Is Corvallis like that?
Corvallis is Eastern.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know that. I've never been to Corvallis.
As soon as you leave Portland, it gets the exact opposite from what I've heard. I've never been there,
look, I was talking to Dryden in Vegas, and he was like, I have been to Portland, by the way. I actually had a good time in Portland, but I understand the ridiculous. I'm used to the homeless situation here in LA, so it wasn't culture shock for me when I saw another homeless man throw some feces at another homeless man. So, but he said, don't go to Portland, go anywhere outside of Portland, which I mean, I've been to Crater Lake, which is awesome. So I can see his point.
Well, let me tell you this. Eugene and Portland don't look very far from each other on the map, and Corvallis is sandwiched in between them right off the Highway 5. That's Western, Oregon.
You know what I love about
it's probably hipster central.
DJU's brother plays for Oregon. Civil War is getting civil.
Oh,
hello. Whoa, yeah. That is good.
Yeah, let's go.
Is DJU going to get in trouble for having done a fried chicken commercial, back east?
Probably.
It wasn't a tofu
when he
goes
to Portland. When he goes to Portland, they'll throw like piss on him or something. Anyway, all right, NC Nick. Or no, Patty C.
Now.
Oh wait, no. Nick played this. This is my pick.
There you go.
I'm sitting over here talking all about this. I'm going to Ames, where this is just fantastic what we got going here. This is Farmageddon football.
Yeah, this should have been.
I know it's not Farmageddon because that's Kansas State, Iowa State. We need to come up with a term for this one. because it's the same thing. It's very similar. Kansas at Iowa State. Kansas, I told you guys, second most production returning in the nation out of 133 teams. Jalen Daniels is back, baby. And Matt Campbell, go back and watch that Texas game. Go back and watch the whole season with the exception to the TCU game. Iowa State was a lot better in their record. Kansas at Iowa State. Nick, I know you hate the Big 12 and you hate Midwest football.
Hey, I've picked a couple of Big 12 games this week, but yes, this is where Big 12 hater comes out because you got two middle of the pack / bottom rung Big 12 teams going at it. Boring as hell.
Well, you were the one that said any of these, these expansion teams in the Big 12 won't be playing in the Big 12 championship. I actually don't think it's that far fetched to say Kansas and Iowa State could be the Big 12 championship.
I mean, the Big 12 is wide open. There's no dominant teams. And that's, that's one thing that could save this game. If we see, by week 10, that one of these teams or both of the teams are playing really well, which is certainly in the realm of possibility. So I guess this game has a chance to move up big time as the season progresses, or it might just stay flat because let's face it, one team was 6-7 last year. One team was 4-8.
One team was 6-1 with their starting quarterback. And even that one loss was in overtime to Arkansas. No,
gotta have depth, buddy. Gotta have depth.
Yeah, well, he's building that depth. And Matt Campbell was in the Big 12 championship not that long ago, buddy. You're wrong. All right, now it goes to Patty.
UVA was in a conference championship not too long ago either, Colby.
And you guys write them off like
Iowa State had a first round draft pick last year.
True. Who was that?
McDonald at the end. Yeah.
Iowa State coming up in the world.
Brock Purdy played for the NFC Championship.
UVA had that tight end drafted by the Colts last year in like the 3rd round or something.
Mo Alley Cox went to VCU. Nick.
Not Mo Alley Cox.
Jelani Woods. Yeah, but he was still an Oklahoma State player for 3 years. A grad transfer nonsense. All right. Patty C, go.
Look, let's just take the obvious play here. We're going state flagship football in the state of in the SEC. We're going Arkansas at Florida.
Pittman. Why do I feel like this game never happens? Oh, it's because it's the 8-game conference schedule.
Just wait until there's 2 more teams in the league and they play every 8 years instead of every 7 years.
Yeah, I think they're going to do away with that because they're still getting rid of divisions. But I see your point. These teams. I'm just curious how. Okay, Florida leads the all-time series 10-2.
That's crazy that they've only played 12 times. What?
I mean, Arkansas, they've been in the SEC for how long now?
Since
I
90,
guess they were
right?
Southwest Conference.
Since 1990?
You're
Still,
right.
12 times since 1990.
Yeah.
Not since, I mean, come on.
It's not that much.
But get this, man. They've never won in Gainesville.
This could be the year, though.
AJ Jefferson coming in there, veteran quarterback could be. I agree with GBO Farms. This is a good pick. And certainly I was going to play it if Patty didn't. We did pick a handful of hipster games here and there. Like if you ask me, am I going to watch more of Arkansas, Florida or Army Air Force? Arkansas, Florida.
I completely disagree. I will not be watching this game probably. I mean, this will probably be on TV 10. All right. Like Army Air Force is going to be on like one of the big screens. You're crazy. We watch college football differently, dude. All right, let's go.
I mean, it depends on where these teams. If these
are 2 teams
buried in the middle of the SEC pack with no chance to get out.
I mean, you just gave Kansas, Iowa State shit. Arkansas was 6-6, and Florida was what 6-6 last year.
It's
what
true.
are you talking about?
Air Force Army does have a lot more to offer. Just based on the fact that that game will always be relevant regardless of the records. And this game does very much depend on the records, that said, I think both these teams are pretty damn good. And I think,
I don't think Florida's good. I think
they're going to rebound. I think, year 1 was tough.
You want to wager on that?
Sure. Better than 6-6.
Yeah.
I'll bet you right now. What do you want to bet?
I'll do,
3 shots on air.
Jaeger bombs. Done.
A Jaeger bomb on air. You saw the handshake. Bring up the clip later.
That under's cashing. Their team's not very good. No, Arkansas, I think, is more of a mystery team. They lose Bryles, they lose Odom, but I could see Arkansas being still pretty good this year. I think
Pittman is not going to be afraid of Florida. That's for sure.
I think Billy Napier's fired.
Whoa.
After this year.
Whoa.
I mean, look, Florida was in the SEC championship game in 2020. 2 years ago, Arkansas won 9 games. These two teams aren't far off from being very relevant.
Yes.
True, but Florida also has 3 losing seasons in the past decade, or 4. Was it 4 or 3? All right. Either way, Florida is kind of a shell of its former self. They fired Dan Mullen after going to that SEC championship. All right. And I think that was a mistake.
Like an idiot.
So Arkansas, Florida. Yeah, it's still, I get it. It should be in the top 30. I'm just not, I find Kansas and Iowa State more interesting.
Yeah.
I do.
Dan Mullen is a classic example of cultural not fit. He's just the biggest nerd, and I feel like Florida needs a coach with swagger.
Napier doesn't have that, though.
I don't know that Napier does, but Pittman is a great cultural fit.
Yeah. I love Sam. No, I am a big Sam Pittman fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. NC Nick.
All right. I think it's time for weekday Nick again. Let's go to a very fun Friday night matchup. And it's not even too late, even though it's Mountain Time Zone. It's 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you, CBS Sports Network. I think I get that. Colorado State at Wyoming. I'm a big Ram fan, and I like Wyoming too. And I think Colorado State is going to be better this year. I'm not going to go out on the limb and say over, but come on, this is a fun Mountain West game.
This is great. This is beautiful. This is like Sunbelt.
Yep.
I was thinking about this the other day. How come the Sun Belt? I know App State's playing Wyoming this year. What, instead of like Coastal playing at UCLA, they need to do
like
like
ACC Big Ten Challenge in basketball. Do the Sun Belt Mountain West Challenge in football. I love it.
I still argue that I know BYU wasn't in the Mountain West in 2020, but I still look at them as an old school Mountain West team. Remember they played at Coastal. That was one of the best games of the season.
That's right.
There's something about the Mountain West and Sun Belt. They need to do this thing.
Pick Dundee for commissioner.
Pick Dundee for commissioner. Let's go. Colorado State, Wyoming. What is this all-time series, by the way?
That's a good question.
I'm pulling it up right now. But uniform porn, Petty C?
Fantastic. It's Fort Collins and Wyoming that are right next to each other. But Colorado State down the road.
They call this the border war. You should love this game.
Of course, I love this.
Yeah, Colorado State leads this all-time series by 8. 58-50.
They're probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours apart. These two,
3 hours and 47 minutes. Okay. Colorado State actually.
Those states are gigantic.
Southern Colorado. So kind of far down there.
No.
Colorado State's down in Southern Colorado.
Fort Collins?
Oh no, I'm looking at Colorado State University Pueblo. Sorry.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, they're close. It's between.
No, this is the one. I thought so. 1 hour away. 1 hour 9 minutes.
There you go. Beautiful.
I was wondering. 1 hour 9 minutes. These are weren't they season-ending rivals for a while?
I think so.
So you're telling me Friday night you can catch Colorado State at Wyoming, and then you can turn around on Saturday and watch Oregon State at Colorado or Air Force Army.
Oh my God, that's perfect. You might even be able to do all three because Air Force Army's in Denver, which is 20 minutes from Boulder.
Depending on
you might even be able to do all three. I need to talk to College Football Campus Tour.
Who knows? Maybe the Broncos got a home game Sunday.
That's true. I don't know if you want to watch that, but
someone tell us. I'm going to request the fans, of these two schools, Wyoming, Colorado State, enrich this rivalry for me and tell me something about it, because I feel like, Colorado overlooks Colorado State a little bit and Wyoming doesn't have a rival and they kind of are an hour apart.
Yeah, this is it though.
It's got to be a cool rivalry.
Played 109 or 110 times, so they've been going at it. All right, look, before we get to my next pick, I want to tell you that we're brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Best Ball Mania is here, and Underdog Fantasy is giving away $15 million in cash prizes. Plus, there's plenty of ways to win in the NBA, NHL, and MLB with their player prop parlays. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use that promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. All right, we are back. We are very back, and I haven't played this one yet. All right, guys.
The heater.
I am taking you. We gotta key in on some of these games. All right. I know they try to put Syracuse on every weekday game. I cannot buy into them at that fucking Carrier Dome. All right. Or whatever they call that stadium now. I'm taking you to Maction. I am taking you to Maction because I see a compelling game. Central Michigan is hosting Northern Illinois. I think these two, you could say Buffalo and Toledo maybe, but it's certainly the Tuesday slate that I feel like is better than the Wednesday slate. I think Northern Illinois in DeKalb at Central Michigan is a very fun matchup. And the fact that I love, you know what I love about Maction? They're outdoors and they every school plays in cold weather. It's just beautiful. Northern Illinois at Central Michigan. Nick, your thoughts?
dude. Look, I love that a Maction game is being played, but you completely played the wrong one.
Why?
Northern Illinois, Central Michigan finished the two worst teams in the West. They were 4-8 and 3-9.
No. But
now,
Northern Illinois won the MAC the year before.
The MAC can flip on his. It can flip on his head from year in year out. But you got the game you should have played was Buffalo Toledo. Toledo won the West last year. Buffalo came in second, only to Ohio in the East.
But Buffalo lost their whole team. Yes, Toledo does bring back a lot. Buffalo lost everybody. I think it could be a blowout. That was my logic. So I am playing Northern Illinois at Central Michigan. I like these programs. I like both these programs.
Well, you know what the real play is here. It's not that the game or the programs itself. It's the beginning of Maction football on Tuesday nights.
That's true.
That's what you're celebrating here.
That is true.
Are these? Do those teams have? Do those two games have identical kickoffs? Northern Illinois, Central Michigan, and Buffalo Toledo.
That I don't know, but
probably 7 Eastern kickoffs. So maybe you chose the wrong one, but the idea was right. You celebrate Maction football on a Tuesday.
Actually, hold on. I
can't argue with that.
Actually both at the same time as far as I see. Look,
I'm still showing TBD. Usually I thought they would like offset them by at least like an hour or something, but
it says 7 or 7:30 for both of them.
Okay.
So either way, look, this is a series that goes back a long way to 1959. So give me, I think, two of the better programs. Look, Dustin says DeKalb used to have the best seed corn around, fellas. Don't sleep on them. Let's go. All right.
Who does now?
Yeah, I'm very curious.
I'm dying to know.
Yeah. Anyway, NC or Patty C, it jumps to you.
Well, it's a deep slate, but it's never too early to play a personal play. You guys are gonna laugh really hard at this. Actually, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna save that one for last. We're going to Minneapolis. The Fighting Illini.
I love this game.
Another
actually.
Big Ten game. Big Ten pack.
Well, I actually love this one though.
These teams are actually pretty fucking good.
Yeah, they both were great defensive teams that couldn't pass the ball. Right, so they were running. Nick, be prepared. 9-6 game, just like you have in the Sun Belt West. All right, it's gonna happen here in Minneapolis. No, I like this game. This game is better than Michigan State and Nebraska.
No, I like Nebraska, Michigan State better. And I mean, look,
I think both these teams are more contenders to win the Big Ten than both those other schools.
That's true.
You're probably right there. That's true.
This game will be more relevant at this point in the season.
The game should be played here. I just find it hilarious that it's Pat picking all the Big Ten games.
It is.
PJ Fleck, Brett Bielema. They got some big name coaches.
Who's the better coach?
Probably Fleck.
Minnesota leads the all-time series by 8 games.
That's a great question. Who is the better coach? Who do you guys think?
They've been playing since 1898. I think it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough. Yeah, I think it's a very good. I think you can argue
what Bielema has done there in just 2 years, right? So that's tough. It's close.
Both of them have been impressive to me at every stop, including Bielema's stop at Arkansas. I think Bielema was the Sam Pittman before Sam Pittman. He's just a northern Sam Pittman, so they never accepted him. But if he was a grits and syrup kind of guy, then they would have loved him down there.
That's true. That's true. He came there. What did he want? He wanted like Polish sausage.
Yeah.
Right?
We don't have that around here.
Oh man. Keith Landry says Bielema has the hotter wife. Probably picked her up in Cabo San Lucas when he was slamming back those pitchers of beer. Shout out to Brett Bielma. All right, NC Nick, it jumps to you. Nick, this is your final pick, buddy.
Oh, I guess I gotta play it, even though it's not very sexy. Kentucky at Mississippi State. All you have is two bold teams going at it. They've been bold teams for the last like 5 years. I mean, it's yeah,
bold
it's
teams
that
every year since that 8-game schedule. Right?
to bring it all back home. Yes, exactly. But it's still a decent matchup. Will I watch that much of it? Probably not. But it should be close. Should be fun, I guess. What do you think?
I like any game in Stark Vegas. I like because they got the cowbells. It's college football, man.
You know, earlier somebody said, I forget who in the chat. Somebody said Jacksonville State at South Carolina, and I think that game could be interesting because I think it could be a sneaky. You know, look, there's a couple of SEC
I didn't realize
games.
that Zion Webb's back for Jacksonville State.
There's a couple, you know, every year there's a couple like almost upsets in the SEC when they play some no-name out of conference opponent. This is on my radar as a possible one this year. Or who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe South Carolina wins 40-10. I don't know. But
give
me Kentucky, Mississippi State.
I like it. I think you got to play it. I love college football games in Starkville. So even as a kid, something about the games in Starkville, they just pop to me on TV. So, Patty C, what do you make of Kentucky, Mississippi State?
Well, I feel like it should be a weekly segment here on how to sell a Kentucky football game.
Here's how you sell it. The all-time series 25-25.
Wow.
Hello. Okay.
Been playing
Competitive
since
football.
1914. How the fuck have they only played 50 times?
I guess they play every other year.
They took a 50-year gap. Is that standard in the SEC? It's like, let's take a 50-year gap. Okay. No, but I yeah. GBO Farm says the cowbells will ring in your head for days. That's what I'm talking about, man. We got one right here, baby. Let's go. Woo. So yeah, I think it's well played. Well played. I think it had to be in there. So let's go. And let's go into your boy Dundee. Man. What else do we have here?
Richard Gertzberger says, I remember when Jim Boeheim married his way out of his league, quote, wife. And yes, I don't know if that's a quote from Boeheim himself saying she's way out of his league, but even a 4 would be way out of Boeheim's league. But he married like a 8, probably 9. She's a smoke show.
Yeah, because rich guys never get hot babes. Yeah. That never happens. Never seen that before.
Look, you're gonna hate this play. You're really, really going to hate this play, but I think it needs to happen because this game is happening at Wrigley Field. And you know, I'm a big fan of college football games, or not just college football games in a baseball stadium, because that's how we built this sport up to where it is. So when you tell me Iowa and Northwestern, Wrigley Stadium, people don't know that they've been playing college football games for a long fucking time there since the 1800s. And the Chicago Bears played there for a long time. And people don't know that. It is football. All right. So when you go there and you reminisce about when Andre Dawson hit a dinger, right? Remember that this is a football heaven too. Wrigley Stadium, Iowa, Northwestern, Big Ten football. And I feel like Northwestern's kind of had their number over the years. I think they struggle. Iowa does. And I think Iowa's a contender in the Big Ten West. Might be the last year of the Big Ten West. Kirk Ferentz, the athletic director, just stepped away. This might be his last chance. And what could stop him is a daunting trip to Wrigley.
Are you saying you're happy that this game isn't in Evanston?
I don't mind one in Wrigley because that's part of our history, buddy.
So again, Northwestern loses a home game probably because it's not played every year. So this is, instead of giving Northwestern,
it's still in Chicago, but yes.
Well, Iowa. I mean,
more Northwestern fans go to Wrigley than Evanston.
With all those states around there, all these people they go to college at like Iowa or wherever, and then they move to Chicago afterwards and for work. So there's gonna be plenty of Iowa fans here. So it's kind of, ripping off Northwestern for not having a home game.
True, but I like the idea of playing like especially I know the I know college, like they're doing a Syracuse Pitt game at the Yankee Stadium, which I get it. It's still cool to me to play it at the baseball stadium, but that's the new Yankee Stadium. Like this one, they actually have been playing college football games there for a long fucking time.
Hopefully we do get some weather to Weehawk's point. So a little snow would be perfect.
Yeah, I want to say, and this rivalry goes back. It's just a good game. It's just a good game.
Kind of early in November for weather. I mean, it's certainly possible in Chicago. Certainly possible, but still, it's not like it's going to be
Iowa, Northwestern. Northwestern, I think that's the first time they've made the top 30. Good old Dundee coming through.
Nicely done. Kirk Ferentz and Pat Fitzgerald. I mean, can you think of a thing that causes Nick to puke more than this?
But you know what? That is strictly, geography puke, because he honors those games in the Sun Belt.
Because in the Sun Belt,
look, one game that was that true South Alabama game.
Army Troy was 10-9.
It doesn't.
I didn't celebrate that game though.
the aesthetic of a Southern defensive battle is athletic players decking each other. In Northern possession games,
it's slow white guys.
It's slow white guys
beautiful
banging heads.
But in the elements, it's fantastic.
Look, I love it. 4-4 in the last 8 between these two teams, even though Iowa's gotten 3 of the last 4. But Pat Fitzgerald, maybe it's that we thought that he was due for a comeback. He's good year, bad year. If you're we were expecting a good year based on the fact that he was coming off a bad year, and he laid an egg.
Can I key
now
in?
We're expecting him to suck. Maybe he delivers.
I also want to key in on the fact that Old Dominion beat Virginia Tech. Old Dominion is a Sun Belt team without scoring an offensive touchdown, right? and they lost to UVA 16-14. Nick got the ACC and the Sun Belt together for a combined 30 points. Also, Old Dominion lost to Marshall 12-0. 12-0 on November 5th. So that's Sun Belt sending out some scorchers on the scoreboard. Let me tell you,
every conference is going to have a handful of low scoring games. The Big Ten West, that's their brand. That's what they do.
But that's why we need this. That's why I'm against Wisconsin's movement to the air raid. I like having difference. All right. When I watch a Pac-12 game and it's 55-52, yes, I vomit a little bit, but it is still okay. I could watch that game. Then I turn it over. I go back 100 years and I put it on the Big Ten West. All right. And I watch, Iowa and their tight end play block all game. Right. I like that. And the threat of it leaving bothers me. All right. It bothers me. Anyway, Patty C.
I mean, if you're not into 9 men in the box or 10 in the box on both sides of the ball, then this isn't your brand of football. But that's what you're gonna.
And I hate listening to college football people try to blast that shit. Like Iowa hasn't been fucking successful.
It's true.
Like they think Iowa can beat Georgia. Like there's just a shit ton of recruits right there in good old Waterloo. You know what I mean? Just sitting there. It's just Waterloo, Iowa, just producing. It's a pipeline. Let me tell you.
Was that where Napoleon was killed?
It's a sister city.
Yeah.
Look, Iowa, France, same difference. Look, that's the other thing is when you really dive into these teams and you start to appreciate the character of them. You see, I mean, Wisconsin got fun with it. They were doing the elephant package. They had 11 offensive linemen on the field, or 10.
That was great. That was great.
All right, that's fun, right?
Look, the fact that Nebraska came in that division, which I wanted them in the Big 12, but they kind of fit. They kind of fit a little bit with Northwestern, Iowa, and Wisconsin.
Oh, they're right there.
Purdue, they were always kind of weird, but everyone else, even Illinois, I felt like they were it.
Yeah.
So. I don't know, folks. Anyway, Patty C, your final pick of the draft. Where are you going?
Well, I'll be damned if I'm going to leave my team off this podcast here. My secondary team, really, my childhood team. Before I became a Duke. This. No, we're going to Charlottesville. Georgia Tech is playing Virginia, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. It's the historic element of this game.
Sell me this one because they don't have identities like Iowa and Northwestern.
Georgia Tech some 33 years ago cost Virginia their only number one ranking of all time. So
Sean Moore,
the folks in Charlottesville still rue the day they played Georgia Tech. And then again, Georgia Tech took one of Virginia's greatest seasons in '95 when they beat Florida State and fucked that one over.
Donnie Davis.
Georgia Tech and they're kind of similar. This is the ACC. This is the old guard of the ACC. Georgia Tech is low key like a really kind of swanky academic school. I don't think they get enough credit for that. Virginia, North Carolina do. Duke does. Georgia Tech in that same breath.
You could have played UConn, Tennessee, which, I think Jim Mora coming into Rocky Top. Let's go.
That's it. Wait, there's no civil conflict. I'm not playing Connecticut
here. Georgia Tech, Virginia. Nick, you're an ACC guy. Sell me on it.
Nope. Can't do it. I think Patty C is purposely sabotaging the ACC, bringing this game up.
No, look, a good rivalry between two teams. It doesn't matter if they're both shitty. You still like it, right?
I'd rather watch Virginia Tech, Louisville.
Well, that was on my radar too. But
I'd rather watch Ohio State, Rutgers.
You've watched
Shiano Bowl.
You'll watch Duke every year, and the vast majority of the time, Duke is shitty, right? In the history of their program, and yet you still watch it. I just have to say that for the people. And I'm still going to watch Virginia. And when they play a team that they've had some great history with, I'm going to tune in.
All right. Well, that's our 30 picks. But now we go to the FCS front. NC Nick, you are on the clock. It's got to be. It's in case you're a first time listener. FCS on FCS. Where you going?
Oh yeah. Okay. The easiest pick of the night. North Dakota State at South Dakota State. Do I have to sell this?
This should have been in our top 30. Actually, this is like a top 10 game.
Right. This should have been number 3.
Yeah. This game is awesome. They played for the national championship last year, and they've been playing this one for a long time. Patty C, your thoughts on North Dakota State at South Dakota State?
The fact that South Dakota State has, made their argument that they are the better team than North Dakota State makes this unbelievable. They're so undisputedly the top two teams, and the fact that they're right next to each other, it's a fantastic rivalry that belongs at the FBS level.
Yeah, and they've been playing for over 125 years or something like that. And although North Dakota State does have a 17-game lead on them, 17-game lead. But the tide has turned. I love this game. It's easily the best. This is one that actually should have been drafted in the top 5. I agree. All right. Well, then it jumps to old Dundee. As much as I love some of these other matchups, I'm quickly looking at some of these. Like, I do love some of these matchups. However, like, I know Elon Delaware is probably going to be like 2 playoff teams, but I got a Friday night game. I like these Ivy League Friday night games.
It's a good play.
All right.
Good play.
And when I see Princeton taking on, isn't Princeton has like a crazy win streak in the Ivy League too? Princeton, Dartmouth going on Friday night.
This is great helmets.
Dartmouth leads the all-time series by 5 games. And by the way, they've been playing since the 1800s. Okay. So when you tell me last year, by the way, Dartmouth lost 17-14. All right. On the road, and Princeton won the Ivy League, but this is a game. This is a game right here. Princeton leads out of the past 5 games. They've won 3 to Dartmouth's 2, but this is one you should be watching. You should be watching this game. Ivy League. I'm bringing it back, Patty C. All right. People need to be watching Ivy League Friday. I want damn good ratings this year. And if you're not an American, damn it. All right, let's go.
Well, you better be real careful if you're going to ignore the Ivy League moving forward, because didn't they just announce
Princeton? I think did.
Was it Princeton or Harvard?
It was Harvard.
One of them said they're going to have an NIL collective, and we all know that the Ivy League is the richest of all types of schools. So once these teams start paying players, and you're offering a scholar or a degree from Harvard,
seriously, they got like Illuminati money.
Yeah. I mean, they are the Illuminati.
They got Epstein money.
Yeah. Epstein played quarterback at Dartmouth. I'm joking.
Poor cheerleaders on that team.
Dude, Nick, what do you think of Princeton Dartmouth?
Weekday Nick approves.
But not Ivy League Nick, huh?
No. That Ivy League Nick is that person does not exist.
Not yet. And yet just start tuning in this week.
A Duke football fan who wishes with all their heart they were in the Ivy League.
That's what I'm saying. What is Duke football? It is Ivy League football.
I don't really give a shit about the Duke academics. Come on.
True.
Okay, so Patty C, you are last on the FCS front.
I feel like you do care about the Duke academics because Duke academics is part and parcel to the whole Duke thing. It's your snobbery is what makes Duke Duke, and you have to be able to look down your nose, both academically, financially, and if you can do it athletically, that's like their afterthought.
Yeah.
Duke belongs in the Ivy League. Let's be honest. Okay. Anyway, my game for the FCS is Sac State at Montana. Look, Sacramento State lost their high-scoring head coach. Do we know what
DC was promoted?
The DC was promoted. I wonder what happens with the offense. This team scored 63 points in the playoff game,
undefeated regular season,
and lost. Yeah. Montana, meanwhile,
Big Sky football at its best,
a mainstay at the championship.
A game
level.
In Missoula is college football.
Say no more.
That is college football. Love that matchup. Nick, what do you think of Sacramento State, Montana, a little Big Sky battle?
Yeah, I mean, look, I love the regionalness of FCS football. It's either, the Carolinas, little pockets of the Northeast, definitely the Dakotas and Montana too. So yeah, sign me up.
There we go. All right, now we get to our Lou Holtz what the fuck game of the week, which I think might even be a little. We had such a good week. It might be hard for us to do the Lou Holtz.
Well, I don't get the break man call.
You just go to the Big Ten.
Yeah, Nick, where you go?
It's not hard for me. I'm going Northeast football, and this game is ridiculous. Merrimack at UMass.
It sucks.
What if I told you Merrimack might win this?
How many people are going to be in the stands? And if you wanted to watch this somehow, could you?
NEC app. I highly recommend the NEC app. Look, Merrimack, I do think is not bad, but UMass just lost their best defensive player to Michigan.
That cornerback, right?
Yeah, that corner. But Merrimack at UMass. Patty C, you interested in Northeast football? Look, Merrimack's in they're in Boston. This is Boston against Amherst.
That's got a little angle to it. I don't know. I won't be watching that.
I'm gonna make this thing on the television. Let's go. All right. Well, look, then it jumps over to old Dundee.
Well, I don't get the break man call, but they're counting down 7-6-5.
Oh man, dude, we probably should have played Kennesaw Sam Houston, by the way. It's not an FCS on FCS anymore, but that's a good game. Man, I'm looking at this thing. I see some trash out there.
Please tell me. Yeah, a game you guys tried to sell me on over UVA, Georgia Tech, or one of the games.
I'm going to take you to Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh gosh.
Where Charlotte is playing at Tulsa. Look, I understand they're in the AAC. I actually even like both programs to a certain extent, but Tulsa needs to join the Mountain West.
These are the two most forgettable programs in college.
What are you talking about? You got Steve fucking Largent. You got Gus Farad. Your old brother. All right. This game sucks. Tulsa needs to be in the Mountain West. Do we agree? Can you make that Tulsa the Mountain West?
Sure.
It's right there.
Sure.
If the Big 12 has got to the Oklahomas, the Mountain West is like the Sun Belt is minor SEC. Mountain West is minor Big 12.
Problem with Tulsa is that it's empty. The stadium's usually empty. It's hard to watch on TV. I've watched a lot of weekday. Nick has watched a lot of weekday Tulsa games, and it's a little tough.
Maybe it's the weekdays because even when I'll be honest, when I was in Tulsa recently, I was there on a weekday. It's pretty fucking empty. It was an empty town. It reminded me of Detroit to a certain extent. But Charlotte, Tulsa, Nick, do you agree this game sucks?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it is tough. I mean, I had the easy pick. Now it gets a little bit tougher to pick two more. And I think this is one of the ones that would have been on my radar.
Patty C, you were on the clock.
Well, I don't get the break man call.
Well, let me tell you what. Tennessee, Connecticut, rather.
No, that's gonna now that UConn's going to the Big 12. When they pull off the upset, everyone's going to be convinced. Shout out to GBO Farms. I'm sure you're taking us to Piscataway, right?
I'm tempted, but there's a game that I was looking at that probably doesn't have as bad of scores. But let me rattle off the scores. I'm actually taking us to College Park, Maryland.
For the Penn State
Maryland game, which is supposedly a rivalry, despite the all-time series being 42-3. This is
a forced rivalry. This is
on
when conference
Wikipedia as a rivalry.
Yeah, but no, that's because the conference tried to force it. They said it was the rival.
Listen to the last 6 games here. 66-3, 38-3, 59-0. Maryland got a W here, 35-19, but then 31-14 and 30.
COVID though, right?
30-0 last year. It's fucking pathetic that they even play each other. I don't understand. This is a border battle. This is how bad this rivalry is. It's a border battle between 2 state flagship schools, and it's still one of the worst games I've ever seen.
You think that's better though? Because Ohio State Rutgers, you know that some of those scores.
Right. Ohio State Rutgers may be worse.
Let's look at those. I was about to say, let me pull those up. Okay, so first off, Rutgers has never beaten Ohio State. They're 0-9. So this is another made up game. And what is the closest outing been? Man, what is the average? I would love to know the average of these wins. 56-17, 49-7, 58-0, 56-0, 52-3, 56-21, 49-27. That's the closest one. 52-13, 49-10.
That's the what the fuck game of the week for me. Ohio State Rutgers.
Yeah, it's gotta be. Folks, this is the College Football Experience. Subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. But also remember to subscribe wherever you listen to the podcast. And remember this weekend, right after, so Sunday into Monday, we go live. 133 teams, 133 episodes, a solo episode for every single team in the FBS.
Beautiful.
Subscribe. We do it every year. Subscribe to the College Football Experience, folks. Spotify, iTunes, please get on over there. Give us it's college football season now. It's after Memorial Day. Give us a 5-star review, do all that good stuff. And also check out the College Baseball Experience, as obviously that season's you got the Duke hat on. You're having a lot of fun there. Shout out to GBO Farms and all the DGens in the chat. Subscribe to the College Basketball Experience as well, because Ohio State Rutgers is a lot more entertaining when we're talking about that game, but we talk college hoops year round over there. We got you covered. We also host the USFL gambling podcast. Check out that. We're live tomorrow night talking United States Football League. Folks, get the SGPN app if you can. Check out the Sports Gambling Podcast. And and I appreciate each and every fan coming over here and hopping into the chat and talking with us. In my opinion, you guys are all
All-American son of a bitch.
Absolutely.
Yes. And where's my song? Where's my outro song here? Here we go. This is the College Football Experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. And the whole team's looking and the whole world's looking with the cameras. Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. And you know what you're getting, 'cause the books we written with the gamers.